Hey everyone, welcome back to the Nintendo Prime Podcast, Season 2, Episode 36. We got a 5-pack for you guys today. We have some amazing topics coming up, including talking about Tears of the Kingdom and no DLC. What the hell is going on with the future of Zelda? Oh, and there's supposedly a Nintendo Direct next week. So we're going to do our predictions today because there's a high likelihood, if the Direct is next week, assuming that it is, that it's going to happen before the show happens, which means we don't have a show predicting the Direct. So we're going to do it now. And you know what? Even if it isn't next week, let's say it's the week after, well, you know, Nate the Hate said it was soon. So it's happening this month. So it could just be a 2-week ahead prediction. Either way, it's going to be fun. So let's start the show the way we always do is go around the room. We'll introduce ourselves. And what have we been playing lately, if anything at all? So let's start out with the 2-inch destroyer himself, Mr. Jake Randall, a.k.a. Virginity Rocks. You're muted.
Now he's muted.
Muted, baby.
I love how you asked if his mic was working beforehand. We're like, yep.
Is it still muted?
Now you're good. Now you're good.
Oh, okay. Sorry, the Go XLR, it's like, it's not getting updates anymore. It's like, it's messing up.
See, that's why I went with the Rodecaster Pro 2.
Yeah, well, I'm already locked in. But anyways.
Locked in is something that's not updated anymore.
Well, I already paid for it. I don't want to.
Yeah, I know. Hey, there is a community around it still trying to update it. So
yeah, I know. I haven't touched it though since like the official update stopped. Sure. But I've been playing. I finally played Vampire Survivors. Got really addicted to that. Super fun.
Great game.
I tried to play Starfield. Wasn't for me. I didn't think it was bad, but I just wasn't enjoying it, and I got a refund. Because I got the $100 edition for the early access, and it just, you know, oof. I could tell I just wasn't gonna like it. So that didn't work out. And then God, there's playing something else too. I don't know. I forget. Pressure's on. So, but yeah, those were the two main ones. I guess one that I had a lot of fun with, and one that just I was disappointed by, but not because it was bad.
Okay. All right. For Vlam. How's it going, buddy?
That's me.
Yeah, going
great.
What are we? What are you playing?
So I've been playing a lot of the TCG Pokemon game because I just signed up for Toronto Regionals. Woo!
Heck
so I'll be there. If anyone else gonna be there, I'll see you. Yeah, I'm trying my best. We'll see. So I've been playing a lot of that, a lot of the Pokemon TCG. I beat Pikmin 4 a couple weeks ago because it's been a minute since I was last on the podcast. Fantastic game. Love it.
The real ending or the false ending?
So
I didn't know there was two different ones. So yeah, I guess I don't know. We'll talk after so we don't spoil it for people in the chat.
It's like it's 100% ending.
I started Sea of Stars. That was the other one, by the way.
I can't remember. I don't think I've seen the true ending either. for Pikmin 4.
Okay, so then probably not the true ending because I gave up on doing 100%. I was doing it, and then I was like, all right, I just want to get this game over with. After when I was in like the water area, I was like, this is miserable.
How many maps have you found? If you've
6
only
or
can
7.
explore 4, then that's not the end. The true end. There's still a lot more game left.
Okay, I've unlocked like 5. So, anyways,
maybe.
So I guess I got a little bit into the bonus, but I didn't fully. Anyways, so yeah, that's what I've been playing. I've been playing a little bit of Valorant as well because it's kind of like re-energized. And they just updated it and they nerfed everybody. Yeah, not a lot of Nintendo because I was gone for the weekend, and then also I've been really busy with content itself. I launched my personal YouTube channel finally. It's gonna have weekly uploads, so we have that going on, and then also my personal podcast. I hired an editor, so we have stuff that's coming down, and it's gonna be cranking out. So that gaming has been on the wayside a little bit, but we've kept it going. So
there we go.
Yeah,
Eric. The only one who's not allowed to have his own.
I know. I can.
Hold on.
We just don't.
No, it doesn't let me add anything for you.
If we plugged the camera into my
PC. We had issues with
I
that.
know.
You know what? I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to give you a name. I'm going to figure this out. You go. What have you been playing lately?
Twat waffle in the bottom corner or what?
Yes.
Wow, that was crazy.
Yes.
No, I was playing a little bit of Tears of the Kingdom earlier tonight. And then a couple nights ago, I re-downloaded Age of Empires and Majesty and played that. So that was a whole hell of a lot of fun. I haven't played that in forever.
Dude, Majesty's great.
Yeah, a couple PC games.
Woo, baby.
Right?
PC games. Let's go. Andres, what have you been playing? I mean, you just went on vacation, so maybe you played nothing. Based on what I was hearing before the cast, there may have been nothing being played, at least gaming wise. But
well, on the plane, I sat with a couple of friends. We played Smash.
All right.
Oh, that's valid. We love some Smash.
Use that
I assume
tabletop mode. Play with the Joy-Cons. It took a little getting used to, but it was fun. So I put
like
in
a singular Joy-Con each.
Singular Joy-Con.
Wow.
Without the strap.
They're really roughing it out here.
Hey,
it worked.
Proven that it works. Hey,
it worked. Is it amazing? No. Is it good enough? Yes.
It got the job done.
It got the job done. Yeah.
All that matters.
I do hope on Switch 2 those S and SLR buttons are a little beefier without the strap. But other than that, I did also continue my efforts to complete Pokemon Stadium 2 on NSO. I am in the Kanto gym leader, so Nate, you told me it was impossible. I haven't beaten it yet 100%, so maybe it is, but it feels pretty doable to me.
Okay.
So yeah,
okay.
definitely. I've had a few losses, but it's felt unfair, but I think I'll be able to get through. Besides that, in terms of like video games, I was gone for a whole week, so I was just kind of traveling outside the country.
Were all those videos done ahead of time?
Most of them.
I was gonna say, I figured they were because it felt like they were going up at a scheduled time, and I'm sitting there like, dude, these videos are actually performing really well.
Yeah,
only we can get that ahead on content all the time.
Yeah. Only one wasn't planned. It was the Mario Wonder discussion.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Which I called my editor.
Yep.
My temporary editor.
Brandon.
Yeah. And I had him record a Discord call between us, and he did that. He also did the B-roll for some of the videos too. So he was pretty key in keeping the content train going.
Brandon the GOAT.
So there was actually only one day that there wasn't a video while I was gone.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And now we're here to hit the ground running because the hype train is
dude.
every day
you might not have been here for the Mario Direct, but the big one's still coming. We got the holiday season coming up. Switch 2 rumors swirling all around. We got probably that being unveiled some point, hopefully early next year. So, all right. So I guess that leaves me. I have been playing. I've been redabbling back into Tears of the Kingdom again. So I'm very happy that I'm getting back into that. Reminded me, it's my favorite game of all time. So there's so much I haven't done in it yet. So I'm just having fun doing some side quests. And then I actually spent a good chunk of the weekend playing Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope DLC.
How is it?
Well, I haven't
Ooh.
gotten to the Rayman part yet
okay.
because
Playing the first one first?
so there's a DLC they added already. So there's the Tower of Doom, and then there's this music island that I haven't beat yet, and I don't see the Rayman DLC selected. So I think I have to beat the music island to unlock the Rayman DLC. So I'm in the middle of doing that right now, which is fine. The music island's pretty cool so far. But I really wanted to play the Rayman DLC right away, but it's cool. I understand. I'm a little bit behind on the DLC, so we'll get through it. It's probably, the island will probably take me like, I think I have like an hour left or so. It just depends on how long the battles take me to do. But it's been a lot of fun, and I can't wait to get to the Rayman part because I want to meet the Phantom. I want him to be blasting in my ears again because, you know, I like when people blast in my ears. That's just a fetish. So yeah,
You would love Valorant music then. Valorant music, just I was jamming to that a lot.
Absolutely blasted in my ears. So besides that, I don't know that I really play much of anything else besides my typical Madden League stuff for Madden 24. I did some fantasy league drafts, which is totally not gaming related. Sorry, Jake, that you got to lose in week 7 and week 14.
No, I don't be sorry at all. I feel bad for you. I feel guilty, man.
Yeah. We're in a league together. I don't know why they invited me. They just want to be taught how you actually play fantasy football. That's all. It's okay. My lessons are free.
Yeah.
Your ass whoopings are free.
Basically. Grant, it's only an 8-team league, so if everyone's team isn't stacked, then they're just dumb. They're just dumb. It's hard not to stack an 8-team league, but that means there's even more pressure on each pick because you want to pick the right players to stack your team with. We had some guys taking quarterbacks in like round 2. I'm like, what are we doing?
Round 1.
There's like 8 of us. Okay, there's 32 quarterbacks. What are we doing?
There's at least 8 that are at least.
You can only play one. This isn't a 2.
Value.
This isn't a 2 QB league. It's only one. Anyway, that being said, there was something I was going to say, but now I'm totally spacing out on what it was. So,
you've been playing with the fishes.
Did anybody
else grip it and rip it? Yeah. Sorry, I heard someone open can.
Wait, what was that, Andres?
He's been playing with the fishes.
Yeah, the fishies swimming behind me and Eric.
Yeah.
Don't you see that? That's my guest bedroom.
The tank's off though.
Dude, that's my guest bedroom, man. Dude, they got literal, just all around, dude. That tank,
it's crazy.
You guys want to know where all your super chats and donations have gone this whole time? Dude, you know how much that tank costs? It's worth more than my house.
I would love to sleep there until it breaks and I die. But
don't worry, I haven't put the big ones in there yet. The big ones will break it. We haven't got there yet.
How deep is that?
I do want to remind everyone, though, before we jump into our topics, the live audience watching, because we do this live. If you're listening to the audio version, we are live every single Wednesday around 8 p.m. Central Time at the Nintendo Prime YouTube channel. If you didn't know that we were a YouTube channel, because we actually have a pretty good dedicated audio listening audience, hey, we have a YouTube channel, so you can go check it out live and even get some of your questions in, which is what I want to remind the audience of. We do take our third topic or our last topic of the day. We're always taking some questions from the chat. These questions are the ones that get super chatted in throughout the stream. So if you ever have a question you want to submit to the panel to be answered later, you just super chat it up. We will feature it during that section and we will answer your questions. Maybe. I mean, if you ask something inappropriate, the 2-inch will have to answer. That's the only. Yeah, it is what it is. All right. That being said, let's dive into our first topic, and it's a big one. They're both big ones today, but there's supposedly a Nintendo Direct next week. Supposedly. Again, I don't have any direct knowledge of it. No, I guess pun intended. But Nintendo insider Nate the Hate has said several times in the last week that it's happening soon, whether it was on Reset Era or on Twitter. And then Necro Felipe Lima from Universal Nintendo, who has a very good track record at least reporting usually about a week ahead of time.
Reported when we're going to get a direct 4 days before it happened. Yeah,
he's pretty connected. I don't know if he has a connection with anyone Nintendo related in his country, but whatever the case may be, he's pretty good at telling us what week we're going to get the direct. And we also, on top of that, have Pioro, who like 2 weeks ago liked to comment when people said, hey, what do you think about the number 13? And 13 happens to be Wednesday next week, which Nintendo tends to do their general directs on Wednesdays. So you can kind of see how it all sort of is lining up.
He has a bit. He is technically on the record for saying September. So if you don't want to believe the likes, he's at least said September.
Well, he also called it. He called Zippo out, and a bunch of other people were saying, "Wow, congrats! You predicted a September direct. My grandma could have done that." So I mean,
yeah. No, actually, his cat.
That's what I was about to say.
His cat. Yeah, he's just roasting people because they're clearly going to have a direct this month. That being said, it's time to get into some predictions. And one prediction I better not hear out of any of your guys' mouth is Tears of the Kingdom DLC after what just happened today.
Oh,
I swear, if anyone, they're
pulling
the double switch. They're doing the hey, we have no 3DS model coming. Oh, next week 3DS XL, mother effer, suck it.
Well, that's a second topic, right?
Yes, I was saying I better not hear that prediction after what Nintendo just said. But you know what?
I mean,
you want to be bold, you want to be beautiful.
All right, well,
you want to hold on hope.
We won't dwell on it because I know it's the second topic, and I'm not personally predicting Tears of the Kingdom DLC anymore.
Well, this is a prediction,
but I will tell you that if you saw my predictions, this is how I kind of did it. I do predict something Zelda will be in the direct, and I was kind of like
Jeff Grubb.
In part,
I think I listened to your video in the background. I think I heard you bring up his comments.
Well, but in part it was that, and in part it was also, well, I mean, if it's not that, it's probably Tears of the Kingdom DLC until today, right? Like, so that those predictions I recorded like over a week ago, like 10 days ago. But yeah, I mean, I would say that if we're not getting Tears of the Kingdom DLC, which seems likely given the Famitsu interview that was translated from actual Eiji Aonuma, the series producer, words, then I think that rumor from Jeff Grubb about something else Zelda happening this year all of a sudden makes a lot more sense because it seemed announced. Exactly, correct. And it makes more sense now because beforehand it would seem kind of hard to believe given the situation where the timing for a Tears of the Kingdom DLC would make sense for now. But since it looks like it's probably not happening, given we're not being faked out here, or it's just being like held off or switched to for like a year or so from now, I think what we're looking at here is another Zelda announcement. And so I think we do get something, and I'm kind of leaning towards it finally being Twilight Princess Wind Waker HD. Now, maybe it doesn't come out this year. Maybe they actually say the announcement for a February direct, so maybe there isn't anything major Zelda in this direct. But I do kind of feel like these are like really good games to kind of put out in this kind of like last phase of Switch before we supposedly get Switch 2 in the second half of 2024. So I feel pretty decent about Zelda something showing up in the direct. I'm going to say 50-50 on that one. I could do more predictions, but I feel like we should probably...
Well, it's okay. We'll get around. We're gonna get all. I'm getting all my predictions out today, so I'm just trying to.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, should I keep going or should I let someone else have a turn?
I think
we should let Eric go first before everyone says everything that he's thinking.
Okay,
because Eric's the one that's most likely to run out of ideas.
Okay.
What? You don't.
I don't have any ideas already.
There's none to start with.
Damn it!
Yeah,
well,
right? Yeah, no.
Do you need time to Google?
Yeah, right. No. Golly.
Here, let me zoom in. Let me make
not?
sure we really get it on you good.
Yeah, right.
Eric's speaking, guys. We got to pay attention.
You're right. Jesus.
Make him like what is it in the thing where you just make him the full screen?
You're right.
I can only do this with him, by the way. I can't affect anyone else.
Yeah, right. Oh goodness. Is this the point where we see the Donkey Kong rumor game? Hopefully, maybe.
I can see them.
What else could we see? I don't know. Switch 2, maybe. That'd be awesome. That would be.
He's throwing
amazing.
out the Switch 2 prediction.
Why not?
That would be.
I didn't think any of us were going to go there.
I want it.
Baby.
I want it. I need it.
Yeah, this is like the Mike Odyssey overhype. Let's go.
But I need a new Switch.
He's still rocking the day one 2017 Switch, baby.
I just
same.
Yeah. So it's time. It's time, Nintendo. Just do it. Nike that shit.
Watch they announce it for summer 2024.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Comes out July.
It's
Mm-mm.
I'm trying to think of what else I could see happening. Mhm.
Mario. Lots
I
of Mario.
feel like
Yeah,
That feels like a stretch.
right.
What about
Yeah,
just-
yeah, well, they're not gonna have Mario in a Nintendo Direct.
No, I
When-
mean, like,
Do you think they'll
why
show
would
any
they
more of the
do
Peach
that?
game, though?
Peach game.
Ooh,
I definitely think
yeah,
we get more
that's
Peach game.
Definitely, yeah.
I think we do
Yeah.
get more of that. Yeah.
Yeah, probably
90%, yes.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
might
know-
even get a release timing.
I mean, I don't know what game.
We
yet,
haven't seen
but
anything from that.
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. No, for sure.
I think we get Shadow Drop Luigi's Mansion 2 because they teased it in the last one. I think they Shadow Drop
Mm.
it like they did with
is
like
it-
Metroid.
Well, then
isn't
they
it
say
isn't it
2024?
Oh,
Yeah.
did they? I missed that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Then never mind.
Hey,
They
you
will
know
not
what?
Shadow
It's
Drop.
okay.
Good.
They still
Could
could.
Shadow Drop
good.
the
Bait and switch.
Yeah.
Pokemon
They
DLC
could.
part one.
It comes-
No,
it co-
no.
it do-
They
No,
always
no,
save
no, no.
Pokemon for a separate
Luigi's
thing.
Mansion
they never
1
bring Pokemon really into
gets
the main
Shadow
unless it's like
Drop.
a spin-off.
Well,
Even
except
for
that
DLC,
they broke that rule with the
that was
with the
already announced.
past direct.
What
was
did they
in
do
the-
in the
was in
past
June
direct?
They showed Pokemon DLC and Detective Pikachu in the
Yeah,
June
so now
direct.
Pokemon's on the table.
Yeah.
We can't even just ignore
Huh.
it. Like they literally
Yeah,
did it.
it,
So
wa- it
Well, I
wasn't
knew
like it wasn't
Detective-
even like a
Detective
15-second mention. It was like an actual whole new trailer for the
they
DLC.
kicked off the
Yeah, that's
DLC
true.
and did the Detective
And like
Pikachu
the
return
DLC was
stuff.
supposed to come out this summer. Like it's like overdue.
Yeah,
No, the DLC. So the DLC is supposed to come out literally this month, and then it's supposed to come, and then the next part comes out next month. I know that
it's
much.
just so we know, right? That the date we're expecting this direct is September 13th, which is also the day that the Pokemon DLC comes out. So
Which would make sense to mention it
Yeah,
in the direct.
true. Yeah, like hey, go
Yeah.
get the DLC
Yeah.
because I'm sure there's a lot of people.
Then they
who
could tease
are-
more for the next part of it. Yeah.
it does
I
kind of make it a
also-
little
I
weird
also
if they
predict-
shadow drop something else, though.
At the Pokemon Company will add
Shadow Drop.
the original Game Boy games for free.
That's
even
so
if
much
you don't have
copium.
NSO.
Oh yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
so copium.
Oh,
That's
okay,
so
for
copium.
free.
With
And on that
all
note, bye.
blue, red, yellow, silver.
The
gold,
reason they
crystal,
don't
The
do that
Pokemon
is
company doesn't like
literally-
money.
for free for every
At-
Nintendo Switch owner.
We will get lucky if they give us ports that are $20 each, much less putting them on NSO.
No, right.
Right.
I'm honestly
Anyway.
surprised we have like the TCG game. To be honest, I'm shocked. They
It's because it's outdated. It's not. The
Well,
current...
so are the original Game Boy versions of these games.
That's true.
No, the thing is, if people
You
play
know-
those, they'd realize how much more fun they are, and that's what they're afraid of.
They're
Yeah,
afraid
maybe.
of reminding everyone how much better Gem 1 is.
How when they used to make good games, yeah. No, I you guys know, fun fact, and I'm not to plug myself again, but we did it. I
Do
did
it.
a recording where
Plug all
we
the
were
way.
talking about the Pokemon transfer process, and I did not know you cannot take Pokemon from generation 1 and 2 to current generation or past generation 2 unless you do it from like the 3DS emulator or use there's like a third party program something that you can use, but there is no Pokemon company, and I didn't know that until recently. I was like, wow, you can't bring them from
Yeah,
you can't bring your boys from
that's why the 3DS Virtual Console releases were a big deal, because that was the first one.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
they had an included feature to transfer.
Yeah,
those ones,
that's
yeah.
sick. Yeah, so well, my Luigi's Mansion theory's out the window now. Don't they? Isn't
Luigi's Mansion
1
1
already on
Yeah.
Switch or my
Literally on
Well,
Nintendo's
one is not
website.
on Switch.
Just
I
for
thought
the
it
record,
was.
I just wanted to clarify this because I see people disputing in the chat. I'm literally looking at Nintendo's official website, and here it says as the headline: "This is Nintendo's website, a visually enhanced version of Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which originally released on Nintendo 3DS, set to launch in 2024."
Yeah.
Well, that's your
That's-
opinion.
that-
They literally said
That's your-
it's my opinion.
Nintendo.
No,
That's your
that's
opinion.
what it
Not
says.
Metroid Prime 2.
Yeah, you know what though? Can we really believe the websites? After all, it did say you must purchase the full game to get additional DLC content with Tears of the
Yeah.
Kingdom on the official website. I'm just
Can we
saying.
really believe the Famitsu translation either? Right? Like maybe we're getting the Tears of the Kingdom expansion pass. Can we really?
Well,
Can we
Famitsu
really
didn't
believe
translate
anything?
it. It's the
I mean-
people translating Famitsu.
I mean, well, fact of the matter
Their
is,
native language.
you know what I mean. Fact of the matter is, you can in theory take a grain of salt with everything in existence because there's always like an example in one way, shape, or form for something
I will say
similar
this.
not going the way we thought it would.
The Zelda team has never intentionally lied to me.
Since they already hinted it, you
Intentionally.
think we could get a
That's a
Pikmin
keyword.
5 title screen at the end.
The what?
Pikmin 5 title screen.
Let's go.
That'd be crazy. That'd be
Let's go.
so funny.
To be fair, they already confirmed
Yeah,
like
that's
Pikmin
what I'm
5's
saying,
happening.
yeah.
Like it's already confirmed. Well, guys, we're getting Pikmin 5. They didn't even. It just came out in an interview. Yeah, we're not going to wait.
Almost
A
done.
completely
More
unrelated
Pikmin.
interview. Yeah, we're not going to wait. Let you wait it. You're not going to have to wait as long for Pikmin 5.
Might as well take advantage of like the current.
When did Pikmin
popularity.
5 even get confirmed? What are we talking? All right, cool. Thanks. We're cool. We're getting Pikmin 5 on Switch 2. Got it.
What about Pikmin 4 DLC?
I don't know. The fact that he said Pikmin 5 makes me think they're just going right to Pikmin 5.
Yeah,
sure.
kind of agree.
Okay. I understand where you guys are coming from with that, but let's also look at games where we got DLC and still got a direct sequel shortly afterwards. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 got a major DLC. We still got Xenoblade Chronicles 3 reasonably not too long afterwards. Splatoon 2 DLC. We got Splatoon 3.
Like 6
that
years
all
after,
has
right?
DLC.
But we weren't.
Yeah, I'm not.
transitioning to
I
a
don't
new
think it's going to
platform.
happen.
We're literally having a new platform next year. I think the DLC, if Tears of the Kingdom does that, I think they're just cooling it. I don't think any of the games coming out this year are going to end up having DLC.
I think this direct will be very telling. Yeah, because if they don't announce DLC for Pikmin 4, I'll be inclined to agree with you guys. Right? Like I'm just saying, like they could.
I think they're just waiting for the new system. Now, could they end up dropping DLC on the new system? Maybe. Who knows there? But I think at that point they're focusing on the new.
Those
the new
rumors
games.
about adding more Smash DLC have any credence to them?
So the Smash DLC stuff is less of a rumor. It's more of a informed speculation.
Conjecture.
Yeah, conjecture. It's based on a lot of things that are coming together that in the past, when these same things came together, it led to a major Smash Bros. Announcement. And I don't, the thing is, they're assuming Fighter Pass 3. It could literally just be, here's Smash Bros. Like, deluxe edition that has all the DLC included now for just the MSRP.
They would want to, even if they did that, they would want to throw something new into that, right? Maybe not a fighter, but like, I don't know, something that is currently not in the game at all.
I think
That's why I think they won't do that until the
Switch
next
2.
Switch 2, and then it'll be like 4K. Will be like,
I think Sakurai's kind of done with. He's done with Smash
do you guys
for a
feel
minute.
like Smash Ultimate will be to Switch 2 what Mario Kart 8 was from Wii U to Switch?
Potentially.
Like it'll just continue to be the Smash game throughout Switch 2?
It's been out for longer though.
I have
a problem.
A thought on that. I think they are going to port it year one, like have like a 4K edition or whatever they do to it to up-res and stuff. But I do think that there will be a new Smash Bros. Game that will launch on this system if this system also proves to be successful like Switch was, because Sakurai has put out there, and he's very forward now that he does these weekly YouTube videos. He's basically said, hey, I'm going to do another Smash game as long as Nintendo like lets me do what I want, because we can't do what we've been doing.
There's
Like
gonna be at least one more.
We have capped off. Well, he basically said what Smash has been so far, Ultimate was the peak. We're not. We can't be trying to do that anymore. So I want to take Smash Bros. In a new direction. And if Nintendo will let him do it, and the system's popular, then I think we could potentially still see it. I'm very curious what that means. It obviously would still be a fighting game, but I don't really know what new direction do you really take. But that's not. But that's up to him. He's the mastermind. Yeah. He's the mastermind. So, here's the thing. He, in my opinion, hasn't made a bad Smash game. So I will play whatever he puts out. The 3DS Wii U is the closest, and even then, it's just because they announced it before they told him he was making it.
Yeah, at least you said that. At least you told me that. I was like, Bayonetta Smash.
They announced it, and he's like, "Yeah, when they announced it, it was news to me." I'm like, "What do you mean it was news to you?"
Nice. I'll say that I haven't done the research on all the Smash stuff yet because I was on vacation. I've been planning to do that maybe tonight. But
there's a lot out there for it.
I will also say that when they announced the Mario Kart DLC, one of the first videos I dropped was, "Hey, when this finishes, they might do this for Smash." And Wave 6 for Mario Kart is likely getting announced next week in the Direct.
Yeah. It's supposed to be done this year. So
right. So and the thing about the Booster Course Pass, it's kind of like this really big, significant content that it's like a great
every
kind of like,
month.
It comes out frequently. That it keeps people. It's most people have Mario Kart, right? Like it's the best selling game on Switch. So
half the audience.
Offering the DLC for free is a really good way to attract a lot of users to NSO. So what's the next best thing after Mario Kart where they could have content like that coming out consistently? Maybe Animal Crossing, but I feel like they're done with that. Mario,
well,
they even offered the Animal Crossing DLC for free on NSO already. So
Yeah.
they already did that for Animal Crossing.
Yeah, the
technically.
Pokemon DLC, but that wraps up early next year.
Yeah, they've already put that up for pre-order, so I don't think they're going to put that up for free on NSO. So my point is that if they're going to want to do something like that after Mario Kart, Smash is kind of like the best answer.
Or they
Yeah,
do
I
nothing
kind of agree.
because we're at the end of the generation.
Or they do nothing.
And they just drop Metroid Prime 4 as the swan song, and we move on. But that's what I'm going to get to. That's one of my predictions. But
also September Directs typically have NSO announcements.
NSO,
Although they,
yeah.
but the difference this time though is that they gave us NSO announcements at the beginning of this year for the Game Boy stuff. That was new. That was unexpected.
They also never fully delivered yet on all the announced N64 games.
Yeah,
So it would be weird to see more of them
Yeah,
announced before you
they'll
deliver on
probably
what you
put
already promised.
yeah, they could
More
maybe
Mario
just
Party.
announce a lot of more games for NSO as opposed to doing some sort of special DLC deal. That's a possibility. Or
Dreamcast is being added.
that'll blow
Could
my
happen.
mind.
Just throwing that out there.
That'll blow my mind.
That could
Game Gear.
That would be sick, baby.
that'd be cool.
Sonic Adventure, Crazy Taxi. Let's go.
I would be so hyped. Soul Calibur.
I could see more Mario Party. I mean, they could really go crazy and put Mario Party DLC, or just putting like the NSO Mario Parties on there. That's probably the more likely of the two, is them putting like, oh, here's the other ones. But yeah, that's
Been
my.
so lazy with Mario Party.
They
Like,
have, and
frustrating.
there's such an untapped like market there. I feel like
And when
you
they
could
release a
add so
game,
much
there's,
more
like,
to superstars.
4 boards, like you know what? Like it's just so bare
Yeah.
bones, and it's just like it's
Like-
frustrating to me because that's actually like one of my go-tos to play with like my sister or like friends that
Yeah.
don't game a lot. Like I still bust that out, and like I get a little disappointed every time because like we have it. That's one of those games where it's really reliant on the company you're with. So I have a lot of fun with it, but I just wish the
Yeah.
game itself had more to offer.
Yeah.
I think we get something Kirby because we get something Kirby every time Nintendo breeds.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
wonder what
Especially
they do.
recently.
I mean,
Kirby's
didn't,
stuff
didn't
was
they, didn't
too.
they announce?
If you look at the
Kirby
start
for
of the
this year
Switch,
and
now
last
it's gotten way
September?
better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
they
already
announced
did
the
announce
remake
a-
Kirby game last September. So they could announce
It was like a
another Kirby.
spin-off game. Yeah.
Speaking of Kirby, what
Um,
I
making my
we
I'm
could-
making my bingo board right now.
yeah.
Just
right?
just
Kirby,
because
you're
you
right.
got me thinking about it, I just want to say what my dream would be for Mario Kart 9 when that
Let's
comes
go.
out for Switch 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
I want it to be like Mario Kart Ultimate, and where they add
Yeah.
not as many characters as Smash, but way more Nintendo characters, like characters they don't have to
100%.
license, like that they fully own.
Mhm.
But like
100%.
add in, Samus, Kirby, all that stuff. And I also want there to be like modes, like Double Dash mode. So like
Oh,
it's not a
yeah.
whole game based on Double Dash, but they have that
Yeah.
like feature in there. Like that would just be sick.
Jake, you weren't here when I
Yeah.
made the one prediction that they do all the courses and all the styles.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
so
we talked
cool.
about this before.
Yeah.
At
That's sick.
least like some, like if it's too hard to do them all, like the most popular ones.
Right.
All right, here
Yeah.
we go. I'm gonna
Yeah.
drop it. All right, here we go. All right,
Drop it.
so Nate, I saw your video today.
Which one?
and
I did too.
I saw the one. Okay, I'll tell you'll figure
The
it
one
out.
where was I on camera or not?
You were on camera.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
and you covered multiple topics.
Yeah, 6 stories.
And I didn't expect to see this as a topic, but I saw on the thumbnail, so I was like, "Oh, okay. Let's see what this is about."
Was it the
And
Metroid?
it was a Metroid Prime 4 topic,
Okay,
and
yeah.
you covered Zippo, and I
Yeah.
get it. You got to cover him, but I need to know.
I can't confirm if he's real or not. I don't know. Like I
You
tend
know
to
what
lean
the
towards I
difference
don't
is
think he's legit, but
between
then he gets some stuff
Zippo-
right, and I don't know what to do.
A
So,
Zippo and a Hippo.
yeah, maybe.
Zippo may be a hippo. We can
One
Maybe.
is really heavy and the other is a little lighter.
Yeah.
I think.
That may be the difference.
Well, he acts like we just don't know the difference.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like a
Um,
classic
so-
dad joke. All right.
But the rumor from Zippo is that Prime 4 is coming out summer 2024,
Yes.
and that feels like a prediction. Could be right.
Yeah, I've predicted
Yeah.
that on this podcast before that I thought it was coming in summer.
And
No, that's
I'll
yeah.
say that if
So I
that
must
is
be a
true-
source. Heard it here.
if
Center
that
Point
is
Podcast.
true, which I'm skeptical that there's a real information there. But if there is, then Prime 4 100% is going to be in this direct. I think.
But see, do you see the way he worded it? Did you actually read through it? He said that he think they'll do like a Pikmin 4 very short, which means if it's summer, it might not be announced till February.
Just
I can see that.
throwing that out
Well,
there.
Pikmin 4 was announced the last September Direct. They gave us like a quick little like 30-second teaser. And then they gave us a more significant trailer in February. And then they kind of gave us a blowout like a month before it came out.
Yeah. See, my prediction is they end this Direct with Metroid Prime 4. I think they do it, and they do give us, because because Zippo said they're going to give us a release date. I'm like, they'll give us a release time. They'll say like summer
Release window, yeah.
Spring 2024. Yeah. Or they'll just say 2024, like they did with the other two games. But they'll give us a year at least, I think, attached, hopefully with a more exact time frame. But
I can see a teaser, not a trailer.
Why?
Because of the Pikmin 4 reasoning, where they're going to keep their hand close to their chest until blink. I don't know. That's just how they seem to be playing a lot of their big releases, at least in the past year. It also post-COVID.
Well, so here's another angle.
That's just based on patterns, not based on any rumors.
No, sure, and that makes sense. But I'll also say Nintendo does different things all the time, so it's kind of like
true.
But
just when you think you got them figured out, they do something different.
Like when they unveiled Tears of the Kingdom back in 2019, that was a trailer.
That's true.
But when they unveiled Mario Wonder, that was a trailer.
Yeah.
If they give me 90 seconds, like I'm not asking for a 3-minute trailer, like a 90 second.
It won't be a 3-minute.
No, like a 90
that'd be great.
Like a short one, but something, right? Something that to consider that I think is valid. Maybe you guys will disagree. We'll see when I actually say it. But given that it now seems unlikely that Tears of the Kingdom DLC is going to get announced, it kind of feels like Nintendo is just kind of like, all right, we did Tears of the Kingdom. That was like the big super hype thing. We're moving past it. For like that very core centric Nintendo audience, like what is obviously Mario Wonder is very, very big deal, but that's definitely more mainstream. It's very much more. It's absolutely like we're all on the same page. I think maybe all of us are gonna buy it, right? And I bet like 90% of the people in the chat are probably gonna buy it. Like it's gonna be a big deal game.
Look, the 2-inch gave Starfield a chance. Is it Starfield? Is that what it's called? I don't remember. Anyways, he gave that a chance. He gave the $100. He doesn't give, a $60 Mario game a chance. I don't know if Virginity really rocks anymore.
Of course I do.
But anyway,
I was when I met Luigi, by the way, and he loved it.
Oh yeah, I know. I saw.
Yeah, Mario didn't, which is sus.
Oh, were you at it live?
Well, the curtain did drop in the one game. I mean, anyways.
Yeah. My point simply is that. With Tears of the Kingdom now done, Nintendo's probably going to want to put something out there to excite us. It's like kind of like a big deal for next year. Metroid Prime 4, from what we've heard, might fit that bill.
So,
can I say I got two off the walls, and then I have a pretty
go for it.
I think pretty predictable thing is just a lot of Mario, just because of based on the last Direct, and then them moving with whatever. I think they could throw some other Mario ports. I think they could throw I could see even like them throwing in like, oh, here's Paper Mario 1,000-Year Door, or here's like the Paper Mario, like one of the, or here's a bundle, or maybe like here's one of the Paper Mario games. They'd probably be maybe that's a little bit off the wall. Two really off the wall ones. I think we Mario and Fortnite. Fortnite coverage. Baby.
I don't even think it's even off the wall, to be honest.
Wait, do they have any Nintendo characters in Fortnite?
I don't think so. No,
not yet. But I could see them doing the weird thing like they did with Minecraft, where you can only get them on if you play like the Switch version. I could see something like that. Like when they did that with Minecraft, and they did like the Mario skins in the Mario world, they made it so that you could only do that on the Minecraft Switch version. I could see them doing something like that with Switch Fortnite. But anyways, the other one, Shadow Drop, Wario World. There it is. Mic drop. Wario World, baby. 3D.
Okay.
Anyways, right. That's my big one.
I just recently beat the Wario where they have on the NSO for the GBA.
Yeah. Okay.
Dude, that's such a fun game to just play in 2 hours, especially with rewind if you mess up. That's like the perfect NSO game, honestly.
Got any predictions? 2-inch?
I mean, I feel like I said a bunch of them, but we didn't really talked about Metroid Prime 4, but what about 2 and 3, or at least 2?
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, supposedly Jeff Grubb said,
Mhm.
you know, like that it's supposed to come soon. So I feel like soon would be
This
the
would
September
be like
Direct.
now, yeah. Or if it's not now, I mean, look, they as Nintendo's proven, they could just do a random social media drop one day. It doesn't have to be a direct, but it feels like based on the last two directs, like if we think about it, in February and June, they shadow dropped GameCube remasters or HD of
True.
GameCube games. So it's like
Right, which Andre
feels like
said,
they're gonna do it
Wind
again.
Waker, Twilight Princess.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Now you're just making people get too excited. All right,
Yeah,
Jeff Grubb,
I
let's
feel
calm
like
down.
I feel like those
Not even
would
Jeff Grubb
be
would even
treated
utter
a
Wind
little
Waker and Twilight
differently.
Princess right now.
Like,
He's got burned so bad on saying those games
Yeah.
are happening.
It's gotta come eventually.
Watch it never come to Switch or the next system. They just never bring them back.
That would be kind of funny. That'd be a very Nintendo move,
That would
honestly.
be very sad, but also
Yeah.
hilarious. All you insiders have been saying this for a decade. It's not coming. It's just like saying we're getting Mother 3. No, we're not. We're not getting Mother 3.
yeah, I'm gonna derail the
Imagine.
conversation, so I'm sorry in advance.
You're fine.
But I was kind of thinking the other day, you know, because I've been using a lot of that Wii U tech demo footage for
Yeah.
some of my videos. That the Zelda footage, it looks
Yep,
amazing,
yep.
right?
Yeah, I didn't think you were
Um,
talking about the flying bird one.
Oh, that one was cool too. But
That
like,
was cool, but
yeah.
like you were talking Zelda, so I kind of
Yeah, so the Zelda thing, like it was such a strange thing that they did then, because they showed this footage off in 2011 alongside new hardware, and they had it in the trailers.
It's not the first time they did that with Zelda.
No, but I guess the weird part is that it was right before Skyward Sword was coming out, so it kind of made Skyward Sword look like garbage by
So
comparison.
did the Space World 2000 footage.
Yeah.
right before Majora's Mask came out.
3,000.
It's
At
like
least it's-
Nintendo's done that twice now. I don't
Yeah.
know what you're doing, Nintendo.
Yeah, and people weren't happy about Wind Waker when that happened, right? Even though Wind Waker has gone on to be
Wind
almost
Waker,
yeah.
yeah. People
But
love
it's just kind of strange that they did that, and then like it wasn't a game, right? Like the footage was not a game, and so when I think about that, it's kind of interesting because I remember when they showed off the Switch trailer, and there was a whole bunch of games there, and people were like, "Oh, those are not real." Thinking about the past, maybe I guess I can kind of understand why some people assume some of those things were fake because Nintendo's done that in the past.
Sure.
It just seems like such a missed opportunity. Like they teased such an amazing looking Zelda title and did nothing with it.
Well, because it wasn't
What
a
if
real
they-
title.
Well, I mean, I know
It was just reimagining the Goma fight from Twilight Princess. That's all it really was.
yeah, way better.
What if
version
they
of it,
did a
too.
thing where they said, "We're not telling you the name of the new system, but here's a tech demo. What's on the new system?"
There's
I could
no
see
way.
that.
There's
I
no
could see
way.
it. That'd be
I-
crazy.
There's
though.
no, because then they're
They can't
admitting
do
it's there right before
anything
the holidays.
That
There's
could
just no
potentially
way.
lower holiday sales.
That's
you know?
true. No,
Unless
that's
they do
valid.
price
Yeah.
cuts. Maybe that's the prediction. Price cuts come and then they can get away with an announcement. That's like the only way I think they could do that. But
I don't
like
think
the-
they're going to do price cuts until after the
yeah.
new Mario Kart 8 bundle and the Animal Crossing Switch Lights. After those are pretty much up and out for a while, then
Yeah.
I could see the price cuts.
I think the price cut comes.
I think you got to let
next
those
year.
run their course first.
Oh yeah, I think the
Yeah.
price cut comes when they announce Switch 2. But Eric is the one that went out on the limb and says it's happening next week. So
Why not?
so that means price cuts next week.
Yeah, right.
So
I-
I would have entertained that idea, but because we did, like as you said, like we've gotten the announcements of the Mario OLED and we've got the re-announcement of the Mario Kart bundle again. Like
with a
I
prettier
think
box this time.
Yeah.
Nicer box. Sure.
Yeah, I think they're gonna ride that. They're taking those pre-order sales or what have you, and then sometime next year, I think is when we get the price drop.
Can we just talk about real quick how lame the Mario OLED is? I like the details on the dock, but like it sucks. Like there's no red in the bezel, so it's literally the way you play it. 90, how you're looking at it 90% of the time.
You
it's
don't
just
see
a
the red.
regular Switch.
Yeah. Also, yeah. Oh, nice details on the dock. Well, too bad my dock, the backside is facing away from me the
Right,
entire
exactly.
time.
Coins,
The
hidden coins.
entire time.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
This is literally they basically already created this for the original OLED. They already did a Mario Red Switch.
Mhm.
They
Yeah,
did
but
it
that one had
on
red
the
on the bezel.
non-OLED one. Yeah, except the whole thing
and
was
not only
red.
that, at least that one had the blue Joy-Con grip. They didn't even include that
Yeah,
with the
they're not
first
even
two.
doing that this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's the laziest thing I've seen Nintendo do in a while, but I'm also not really surprised.
Yeah.
Look, this is how they've been treating the Mario this whole time, just doing colors for some reason and the same colors or a deeper red. Oh, we have Mario Red Joy-Cons and it's a deeper red this time. But no,
They
this
should have done a
new
Luigi
new
one. That
one's
would've been
now
cool.
Mario Red. What?
Ooh, Luigi one would be sick.
Yeah, see, they could have done a Luigi thing. They could have said, you know what, Daisy's playable. Let's do a Daisy version.
You know, they
Bro,
put some effort
it's
into
not the
those
rear
Animal
ear
Crossing
Luigi.
Switch lights, though. They're
Right,
not
that's what I was just
crazy,
gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but their design like matches like the shirts they wear with the
Look, you got the
leaves.
Peach game
And
coming
then
out.
they
Make
have the
it
little
Peach
leaf
themed.
button, the home button.
Peach switch, pink switch.
The home button. and
Girls
the-
would go hard for that. Oh my! I would go hard
The
for
Peach
that,
game will have a special edition Switch. Light.
dude.
If it
girlies
looks like
across
the
the
dog looks like a
globe.
little
Yeah.
theater because they have like the curtains, that would be
Oh,
cool. That would be
There
cool.
you go.
Like and they
Up
make like a
all
stage.
pink switch would just
Yeah.
people would be in a frenzy.
I could
By the
see
way-
Nintendo not only like having like a special edition like Peach Switch Lite, but also maybe adding more like Animal Crossing DLC when that comes out to really try to get some of the last people that don't have Switches to potentially come on board. You know what I mean?
Really
Yeah.
squeeze that mark. Really
You
squeeze
got it.
the last.
There's
bit,
not
yeah.
many people left.
So
Yeah.
I think this direct's gonna be huge. I think it is
What's gonna be,
potentially
like,
the
thing
last.
None of us are expecting. Like I want to hear those predictions.
Yeah.
Like,
So like,
the
I've
weekly-
got some. I've got some. So like,
All right.
I think it's gonna be the last big direct for Switch. I think by the time we get to February, that we'll have either announced the next system or at least maybe even mentioned it in passing at an investors meeting or something. Because now we hit 2024 and now we got to get hyped for the next thing because maybe our holiday sales aren't going to look that exciting compared to the prior year. Blah 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 blah. They've been declining sales year over year. So I clearly expect them to show a decline again. If everyone's like, oh, but Mario, I'm like, dude, did you look at their holiday lineup last year? Go ahead and glance at the sales numbers their games were doing last holiday season. And
It's crazy.
that still had a year-over-year drop in Switch sales. We're getting a year-over-year drop in holiday Switch sales. It's going to happen, guys. But what's interesting is thinking about this being maybe the last hurrah and looking at all the September directs that have happened. They've traditionally had 2 games that weren't known yet announced for the following year happen in the September direct. And now we already have 2 announced from the June one. In the Peach game and the Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, HD or whatever they call it. They probably just call it Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon when it comes out. But
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting because if it's the Swan Song Direct for Switch, I do feel, like I said, it's going to end with Metroid Prime 4. That's just my prediction. I don't know anything. I have no information other than that the game is done. Okay, well, it being done doesn't mean anything. They can show it whenever they want. And I do think it is not going to be a cross-generation title. There's so many people on the cross-gen train. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think it's launching exclusively on Nintendo Switch, just the way Paper Mario Color Splash was the technically last first-party release for the Wii U, even though at that point they had already canceled Wii U's and weren't even making them anymore, and they still released that game exclusively. They could have delayed it. They could have put it on Switch, but they didn't. And they're not going to – I just think we're going to get this as a summer, like early summer, even like a June drop of Metroid Prime 4. But anyways, I don't know if they're going to give us the release date, but anyway, that's what I think they're going to end with because it's been anticipated since it was announced in 2017. And I do think they will show the game. How much they show, I don't know. But I don't
My only thing is like that's like so big it could totally just end up being its own thing when they're
But
ready.
is it? But is it?
Yeah.
Because
Especially
Metroid has
with
never.
Metroid Prime 2 and 3. Why would they? You know what I mean? I think. Why
Sure.
would they show both?
Well, because one's new and the other one's not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just saying, one's new and the other one's not. Because here's what's going to happen.
Yeah, no, I don't completely disagree. I'm just
They're going to
looking
drop
at,
Metroid
like,
Prime
the other
2,
side.
Shadow Drop. Metroid Prime 2 Echoes is going to get Shadow Dropped. They might do 2 and 3, but I'm just going to say 2. And I only say they might do 2 and 3 because they did Pikmin 1 and 2. But they also had.
Well, Nate, let me ask you this: they would have to do 2 and 3 if they did 4. Like,
No, they would
make no
not.
sense to do 2.
No,
and
they would
4.
not, because there's a whole nother direct before this game would come out, and they could drop 3 at that direct.
True.
True.
Spread it out. Again, they could do 2 and 3 because they did Pikmin 1 and 2, but of course they did Pikmin 1 and 2 when 3 was already fully, or 4 was already fully unveiled.
I think it should be noted that this Metroid Prime 2 rumor, it was just Prime 2 that was rumored.
Yeah, it was just Prime 2. Yes, it was just Prime 2.
Yeah.
It wasn't Prime 3. But so I'm saying if they do 2 and 3, it would only be because they showed 4. Because now you're doing 2 and 3 because you're making people anticipate that 4th one. Because I guarantee you there's actually a lot of Switch owners that don't even know 4 is coming. Because they didn't own the Switch in 2017. They weren't watching E3 2017. They might not even know that Prime 4 is coming.
You know what's crazy? That Prime 4 trailer has like a few million views. I think it has like 3.9 million views.
But
which is
so
pretty
here's
intense.
my thing. No Metroid game is still better than Metroid Dread, which is right around 3 million. A little over 3. We don't know. It's 3 million plus was the last update we got. So that means it outsold all the prior Metroid Prime games. Now, granted, outside of Metroid Prime 3, 1 and 2 came out on a system that didn't sell very well. And then for some reason, Prime 3 just didn't sell very well on Wii. We can go, we're not going to debate on why that was the case. Metroid also has never really been a big seller. It's always sort of sold Kirby level of sales. So like when we talk about it, it's a big deal game. It's a big deal game to those that care. Mario Wonder is a much bigger deal than Metroid Prime 4 would ever be.
Well, yeah, obviously.
So like I look at it as it's a nice game to end a generation, but it's not a system selling sort of game. And so it's okay for them to do that. Like there'll be a dedicated direct to it someday next year. But I think here's my thing. They can't just tease this game if they show it. And I know a lot of people think if they show it, it'll just be a teaser because that's all we got was a teaser. You can't go back-to-back teasers. We still have a teaser. It's called the title. They teased it in 2017. You can't come back and show it the first time you show it since 2017.
Updated logo.
Here's another teaser, an updated logo with a pan shot that fades to black and says 2024. You can't do that. You have to show.
But they
the
would.
Game. No, they won't.
No, I agree.
The
I don't think you could. I mean, you could do another teaser because they did do.
They respected Metroid fans enough to let them know that they changed developers and rebooted it. Like they're not gonna. I just don't think they're gonna come in.
That's
and be
true.
Like,
they did
Here's another
straight
teaser.
up apologize in a direct once, didn't they? They just said, "Hey, AR bad."
listen,
we're resetting this shit.
They could have given us a teaser
about
maybe
that.
like 2 years ago. Like that would have been the right time to give us another teaser. But I think Nate's right. If they're showing it, it's because they're actually showing it. Now they may not show a lot. It may be a
I don't expect
trailer.
a 3-minute, 4-minute, 5-minute blowout. Nothing like that. That'll be saved for February. That'll be saved for a dedicated direct. But I do think that we could get a good minute to 90 seconds where we actually
it'll be
see,
trailer 1.
There'll be teases in it. Teases a boss fight, but there will be some actual gameplay shown off. Even if it's only like 15 seconds of the actual 1-minute trailer's real gameplay, it will show something. And you can call that a teaser trailer. But if it shows real gameplay, then what? You're just teasing the game to me by showing the game?
So,
okay, cool. I'll take that.
It's interesting when we take a look at how Nintendo kind of like titles their trailers. So like for Tears of the Kingdom, the first technical official trailer is the one where they gave us the title and the release date.
I think it's just lower minds.
The first 2 trailers are considered teasers. So the first one that we saw in 2019 and the one that we saw at E3 2021, those are both teasers. So it wasn't technically. That's what they're technically teasers.
What I find interesting is my prediction is that they're going to show the game, and I actually think they're going to show, because remember the rumor that like big vast areas. I sort of think that they're going to show off this game in the way that they sort of showed off Breath of the Wild in its first one, where they're going to go into this big. There's going to be this big pan shot with this epic music playing. You're going to see this world, and there's going to be new enemies. You're not going to recognize that these are enemies from the game, and you're just watching this world as it just pans around, and it's showing like this creature interacting and drinking out of a pond or something, and all of a sudden. Right at the end, there's like some sort of voice acting that says, "Are you ready?" or something like that. Visor comes down, it comes out, money shot, shoots the cannon arm, cut to black. 2024.
Samus
Maybe
having a voice would be sick.
All right,
and that would still be a teaser.
I have my crazy prediction.
What's your crazy prediction?
All right, so this is definitely not going to happen, but my prediction is they reveal a new game featuring Bowser as a protagonist, voiced by Jack Black.
Ooh.
That would be kinda
Mario
cool.
movie the
can't even rule
game.
it out.
Mario
even rule
movie
it
the
out.
game.
That would
can't
be
rule it out.
amazing.
I
Yeah.
think
Dude,
that
they got
actually
a
would
relationship with Jack Black now. We
work.
can't rule it out.
And they're trying to build up that universe, kind of.
Mario's the voice actor for Mario Wonder. Reveal. No, I'm just kidding. No, they won't even. Yeah, if he was the voice, they would literally be using it to market the game. So,
You think they'll waste time and show Mario Wonder again in this direct?
Yeah, of course.
yes,
That's the
But
strategy.
not
They
a
showed
I think
lot.
they'll
that.
but
definitely pad
it won't be
again.
a lot. It won't be a lot.
Yeah.
They show.
Yeah,
I
but
actually
they'll
would
definitely
ar-
pad a good 5 minutes of it.
I don't think so.
I've been arguing that the Mario Wonder Direct is actually a way for them to kind of open up the space for other things in the Direct.
No, I don't
Yeah,
think so.
I was
I
gonna
think
say-
it'll be in there, and that's just what they do. Whenever like
No.
a release is on the horizon,
Yeah.
they
Yes.
count it till it's.
Yes,
Well, it's out.
Sure.
Super
for
Mario
sure.
Wonder is absolutely going to be in there. I don't think they're wasting 5 minutes. You're going to get a minute of
3 to
new footage of
3.
something they haven't shown,
True.
and they're just going to be like, "Hey, it's still coming."
Don't forget about us again.
Yeah, like they just did
Yeah,
public
true.
demos.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going to announce more public demos coming for it at Best Buys or something
Yeah.
like they've done in the past. So they could be,
Or
or they could
actually
be announcing
release
a
a demo.
They could be announcing a moving tour of demos. They've done that before.
Or just
So-
give us a damn demo.
They're not going to release a demo.
Come on.
That's just not happening. It sounded like
That'd
the
be
demo was
wild.
basically the whole game, and they just put a time
Ooh.
limit on it, so you couldn't go
Ooh.
past a certain point.
There'll
or
be
I
no
could see them
demo.
use
Which
it
is
like
very-
a
which is
role
a very
model.
Nintendo
The
thing to
Jack
do.
Black thing has me thinking they probably wouldn't do this, but it is their big direct. Do you think they would announce that another movie is in development?
Ooh, Zelda
No.
movie.
Or
Zelda
it could be the-
movie.
either one.
Nah, it'll probably be Donkey Kong. I
If
The
feel.
there
problem
was
is
no
that we have the
strikes.
strikes.
Yeah, there's strikes all around.
Oh
the industry
yeah,
right now.
you're all are so right. Y'all are so right.
Yeah, I don't think they're announcing
Yeah.
any new projects.
Otherwise, I would be like, that makes a lot of sense. Like,
Mhm.
But
yeah,
the
they
strikes
can announce
kinda
that, announce a
fucking
DK
everybody.
movie.
No,
announce
you're right
Zelda.
about the strikes. That's a good
Support
point.
SAG-AFTRA. Support SAG.
Yeah, I've been on the whole time that they're not gonna do anything because of the strikes. Like example,
still
why
think it's
aren't they
worth
mentioning the
mentioning.
voice actor in Mario Wonder right now? Everyone assumes it's because they don't want people to know, and I'm telling you, no, it's because the voice actors aren't supposed to be voice acting right now. So this person isn't following the damn stuff.
This was probably done before
Maybe,
the strikes.
maybe, but there are some voice actors still doing voice acting right now that are getting a lot of shit.
Yeah, they're crossing
now.
the picket lines, and it's
So like
not,
it's
not cash money. Not cool.
and the fact that Nintendo's like, oh, you'll see in the credits, like they don't even want to say the name out loud, and that to me speaks like, okay, we're trying to protect this guy from getting just fucking shit roasted by his colleagues. But we'll see. Obviously, we don't know. We'll find out if the game comes out and he starts getting shit roasted. We'll know why, because it'll be by his fellow voice actors. They'll be the ones that do it. So, that being said, obviously, I don't want to presume the worst, but it's very un-Nintendo like to be like, you'll see in the credits. Like, really, dude? You didn't even say that was Zelda. You didn't say we'll see in the credits. You just announced them. This is. Why are you treating this different? Oh, there is something different happening right now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but my thing is, this direct is going to have a lot of stuff. Like, yeah, I'll end with Metroid Prime 4 because they're going to treat it like it's a big deal because it's going to be that swan song game. But there's going to be more surprise announcements, and I don't just mean like the shadow drop of Metroid Prime 2. There's going to be at least one more game announced for next year that I have no idea what it is. It could be a remaster. It could be like F-Zero GX remaster coming. It could be
Donkey Kong.
It could be Donkey Kong.
Yeah, Donkey Kong I think is the most likely because it's Mario adjacent. I don't know if it'll be 3D or 2D, but I could definitely see a new Donkey Kong game in some.
And I'll just
capacity
throw this
for
out
sure.
here. Although I'd like to see this game saved for Switch 2. What if it's another Platinum game partnership or something like Astral Chain 2? So there is a possibility of, because I said they've been averaging 2 games announced every September for the following year that wasn't previously known. Well, they'll treat Metroid Prime 4 like it's a new announcement, even though it was announced in 2017, because we don't know that it's coming next year. And then they'll have that one other game that I don't know what it is. I also think that we might see more than one game announced. So I keep going back to the Emily Rogers quote when she said this generation is going to end with a ton of GameCube remasters. And it's sort of been ringing true right so far, right? We had the Kirby game. We had obviously the Metroid Prime Shadow drop. We had the Pikmin 1 and 2. We're probably going to get Metroid Prime 2 Echoes drop this time. And I think that that's not where it stops. We've heard rumors about F-Zero GX. We've heard rumors about other GameCube games. And I sort of think that they're just going to drop a bunch of those announcements right now and sort of spread it out over the next 6 months. And that's basically that plus Peach and Metroid Prime 4 are how they're ending the generation of Switch. And I think most people will end up really happy with that because most Switch owners never owned a GameCube. Let's just be honest. And so these are brand new games for them. And those of us that did own these old systems, we almost get more excited than the new players. Look at the hype behind Super Mario RPG. It's primarily driven by people who played the damn game already.
Yeah. By the way, that F-Zero game is like a legit like remaster, like a big boy remaster. It's made by Next Level and has online with maybe some new content.
If all those rumors are true, yeah.
Like that would be huge. And I think a lot of
there's the
people
Bot and Katos remaster too. Someone just reminded me in the chat. Bot and Katos too, as well, is coming back. So like GameCube remasters have been happening. So I think we might just get almost an avalanche, and people are going to be like, "What?" It's going to be like the second half of that one direct. Was that earlier this year, where the first half felt really boring and whatever? The second half was just like banger, 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 banger. They just kept slapping it. And I think that's what this direct's going to do. It's going to start off a little slow. It'll show off some more of the Pokemon DLC. It'll show off like I don't know. It'll show off just the games that are least exciting. Then there's going to be that mid game to excite you. That's going to be another new game announced for next year. And then they're just going to keep going. They're just going to keep.
What about like a 2D Zelda?
And that could be it. That could be the other new game announced for next year.
2D Zelda would be pretty good. 2D,
a top down,
like a sequel to
new platform to do. It makes a lot of sense. And Rezo's probably been doing something since Link's Awakening on Zelda.
What if they port? What if they port Between Worlds? I can see that.
Worlds.
I could see them. I could see them
ported 3DS games. So that's a possibility.
I was saying, yeah. And I mean, they did. I could see them doing it in the art style of what they did for Link's Awakening. Not that I would say like that, but
I will say.
I mean, I could definitely see Between Worlds.
I am predicting no Wind Waker or Twilight Princess.
Yeah, I don't think it's
just throwing that out there.
The copium for me is the run out for that one.
It's not even the copium, hopium, whatever we want to call it. It's just, I think there's a reason they aren't doing it, and it's because it won't look impressive enough compared to Wii U.
Really?
You're going from 720p to 720p in handheld. You're going from 720p to 1080p on your TV. I don't think that they feel that that's going to look. It's not going to look visually better to many gamers' eyes over the HD version they already made. So I feel like they're going to wait until maybe switch to as a 1080p screen. So now you get 1080p in handheld. Maybe do it DLSS. It's 4K on your TV, and it just looks that much more impressive. Also, fun note: the Wind Waker, that original remastering was handled directly by the Zelda team, and I kind of get this feeling that Aonuma is very attached to that game. It's like one of the last games that he personally directed. So I kind of feel like he would want to handle this himself rather than having that particular game handle it himself. So, but we'll see. I mean, look, we don't really know if anything Zelda is going to happen at all. Like there's no guarantee anything Zelda happens, guys. We literally got Tears of the Kingdom this year, and it was a pattern for a while. It's one Zelda thing a year. We got the one Zelda thing. We got the biggest Zelda thing.
Yeah.
We got a 20+ million selling brand new Zelda game. So like we don't have to expect anything. The only reason there was expectations was, well, we thought there might be, DLC. Some of you guys did. We'll get to that in a moment. And then if there wasn't DLC, there was that stuff from Jeff Grubb that made us go, oh, really? There's going to be a Zelda announcement that's not related to Tears of the Kingdom. Why? Why would they do that? Unless it's announcing for 2024, which is a distinct possibility. If who knows when Switch 2 is launching next year. If it's launching at the end of summer, then maybe they would want to announce that now if it's heading to Switch instead of announcing it next year. So there's a whole lot of unknown right now since we sort of know we're entering a transition period, but I do think this Direct's going to have a lot of things that are going to make a lot of Nintendo fans smile.
Yeah, I do want to circle back.
Erect.
Yes. They're gonna have to invent the Nintendo Prime Erector set. Actually, they won't have to. It's already attached.
Yeah, I want to circle back to the Twilight Princess Wind Waker thing because while I feel like it fits, it also kind of doesn't, because I don't really feel like they should release them this year. I think they should release them next year. And if they're going to release them next year, I don't see why they have to announce them in this Direct.
Sure, they could do it in February.
Right, I feel like if anything, it makes more sense to announce them in February. But the rumor is that something Zelda related is getting announced this year.
But it doesn't have to be those games. It could be Oracle games coming back. Whatever. I mean, here's the thing. Grezzo is overdue to have a Zelda game teased out of them. So what are they doing? or is it being saved for the next system? Which you
Yeah,
know
but
what,
do
Nintendo's
you
probably
announce
saving a
an-
lot for the next
yeah.
system. So,
Do you announce a new Zelda so quickly? Also, like,
but I don't know that.
Yeah.
I think that what
Or
they
it would
saw with
make
Link's
sense that
Awakening.
they're not doing a DLC if they were announcing a new Zelda so quickly.
Also,
yeah,
as we
Especially
saw with
for
Link's
2D.
Awakening, it didn't take away
True.
sales of Breath of the Wild. And Breath of the Wild didn't necessarily increase sales of Link's Awakening. So there's not as big of a crossover if it's top down.
Right.
You know, so I think that hits on
Sure.
a sort of a different audience.
yeah.
almost
It
for
does.
them.
It does. Yeah.
Also, but going back to the Twilight Princess Wind Waker thing, if maybe they're gonna actually go back and make some changes to them again,
Well,
then
they'd have to
maybe
make
it does.
some.
Right. It would warrant actually somewhat
Like
of an
tingle bottles
advertising
would probably
window.
have to get removed.
Yeah. Well, there would have to be some changes, but I guess my point is that it might be enough changes to where it's not just like, hey, here's a remaster, we're dropping it real quick. It might be like, oh, this is kind of like a 3D World Deluxe sort of thing where they're putting a little bit more care into this, and they can kind of build it up for a few months. So maybe they could announce it in this direct if they're putting some work into it. If it's just basically, stripping out the things that we don't need because it's no longer in Wii U and selling it, then I think that would wait until a February direct. But if they're adding some stuff,
yeah, who knows?
Maybe.
I mean, you're adding content. That's a whole different ballpark. Then.
well,
You're gonna
60
Bowser's
FPS
Fury
mode.
this bad boy. Let's go.
That'd be
Let's
sick.
go. I mean, after all, even Link's Awakening, which was a full visual reimagining, they did include a dungeon maker in it. So like, you don't really know what they're gonna do because like Skyward Sword HD, they didn't really do that much.
Oh, you
What
know
if they
what?
do
One thing we
extra
didn't talk
visual
about that'll probably be in the direct. Aren't they adding? They're dropping the amiibos, right? The new amiibos.
Oh yeah, we don't have the Zelda amiibo dates.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So
'Cause
probably
those
some
will
amiibo
give you
dates.
new gliders in the game too. So I guess there's not DLC, but there's content being added. It's already
Amiibo
in the
DLC.
files.
It is a great transition
Oh shit!
because.
Of course.
There it
Yeah.
is.
No, I had a couple things.
All right, hey, no. What do you mean? You know you can cut my ass off.
I know, but
You literally
know.
can reach and strangle me.
I know I can.
Get his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Crazy.
I had thought of a couple games that
All right.
I doubt we'll ever see, or happen in this direct. But why not?
Hey, it's a
We're
dream.
throwing stuff out there.
You said
Um,
Switch 2 already. You're
Yeah,
already
right.
dreaming. Let's
No,
go.
when are we going to see Mario Maker 3?
Next system, if it
I mean,
exists at all.
right?
I agree.
I don't
That's
think
what I was
Mario Maker
thinking.
sold well enough. I don't even know if they're going to do
I
it
would say
again.
I think Mario Maker's dead in the water. It did
Next
it did
lifetime.
terrible.
No, I would say
Yeah.
this. They will bring it back if it's 3D Mario Maker.
That would be
That'd be
crazy. 3D
But
Mario Maker.
that's not gonna
would
be
go
right now.
hard.
That's not going to be right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
And another game that could possibly give us an idea of maybe when the Switch 2 would be coming out would be the next Monster Hunter game.
Okay.
If they announce a new
Capcom.
Monster Hunter game that's coming to Switch,
There's supposed to be a new announcement from Capcom that's supposed to be a big seller for early next year.
There better
we
be Mega
still
Man
don't know what
Legends
it is.
3, or I'm boycotting Capcom forever.
You're boycotting them forever?
I want them to finish Mega Man Legends 3.
Yeah.
That's all
It's
I
not,
know.
that's just not going to happen.
I was like, why are we boycotting Capcom?
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing some good
mean
stuff, but he really wants
Crapcom?
Legends 3. He really wants Legends 3.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
I actually love Capcom.
Don't stop.
That's your opinion. right?
believing.
but I think it could be an early addition to the Switch 2, or the next generation Switch, if they did announce that. So if you say, summer, or give a time frame too, that could give a little hint on where that
For
that-
which one?
for Monster Hunter.
Oh, okay.
You see where I'm going with that though? I mean,
Well,
could
here's
be-
here's
Monster
Monster
the-
Hunter
Hunter
Stories.
release,
If they made another one of those,
So
I would
they're kind of overdue to launch a Monster Hunter World 2 at
Mhm.
this point,
I'll be right back.
because Monster Hunter World sold so damn well. But I just don't know. I mean, that could be what they announce, and maybe that's coming to the next platform,
Mhm.
but it's going to launch first on everything else because it's already ready or something.
maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. There's so much to consider when you talk about that. Like, there's that Resident Evil game that was teased at one point that was supposed to come to Switch and then just never got announced. Probably got canceled.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Maybe the big announcement is Xbox Game Pass is coming, baby.
Yeah. Right.
Let's
That'd
go.
be interesting. But I had one last one.
Phil Spencer, baby. He was busy playing Mario this last weekend. Let's go. Let's go. He's officially partnering him up.
Call of Duty, the new one in the Nintendo Direct.
I
the deal's not done yet.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah. No, then I had one last one that I thought could be interesting. But we haven't had a game since I believe 2019. Let me double check that if I can find it again. No, okay. But they do something along the lines of Kirby in the Forgotten Land, but for Luigi or for Yoshi. Sorry.
They make a 3D Yoshi game.
We haven't had a Yoshi game in a while.
True.
3D Yoshi game.
Yeah, they do something like Kirby in the Forgotten Land, but for Yoshi.
See, why are you going to the chat with your best ideas, Jake? Why are you going to the chat? That was the best prediction yet, and you put it in the chat.
My prediction. It was Lablorcha times. That's why I was in the chat. I was responding to him.
Well, credit to Ferocian. It's Nintendo's Warriors is clearly GOATY this year. Shadow Drop, 98 overall. Metacritic, it's happening. Nintendo's versus cats. Made. Oh man, put cat and dog lovers against each other. Oh man,
sheesh.
The bloodbath ensues. Oh man, there's so many different types of cats and dogs, man. It would be crazy. Anyways, well. Are you good? You got it? Okay.
No.
The only reason I was grabbing that transition is he brought up Tears of the Kingdom. So I was what a perfect transition.
I know. Yeah, sometimes
Eric, all you had to do is slap me upside the head, though.
Yeah.
All right. Now we transition. Even though Andres is gone, he'll be back. We got to get into the Tears of the Kingdom won't be getting DLC. Tears of the Kingdom, Zelda sort of topic combined, future of Zelda. And the reason that we now know that Tears of the Kingdom supposedly won't be getting DLC, we might as well just say it won't because the words are pretty clear and it's been translated by multiple people. And all of a sudden the words are pretty clear. They don't really leave, room for weird interpretations. But I'm using a quote here. It came directly from an interview from Famitsu where they were asked about additional content for Tears of the Kingdom or the future of Zelda. And Fujibayashi was just sort of like, I don't really know what direction we're going to go quite yet, yada, yada. And then Aonuma just comes in and just drops the hammer and just says, there are no plans to release additional content this time. Not at this time, like many of us kept saying in our videos, because that's how we read it. It's this time. So literally just we're not releasing DLC. It's just not happening. Because we feel that we have exhausted the possibilities of creating play in that world. So they have a reason for it. They never at any point were planning to do DLC, just period. That stuff we saw on the website, it was only on one official website, by the way, where it mentioned DLC, and it was probably just human error. I think we forget all these official websites are often the worst place to get official information because there's a lot of human errors on these websites. People forget that because they maybe didn't cover these. I used to cover all the website stuff back on the written when I used to do little journalism stuff, and there's errors all over those websites. So it was probably just an error from one employee working on the website that text even appeared. And we can say that in hindsight now, because again, he said there are no plans, which means they never had plans. Like they didn't change their mind. If they felt like they exhausted all their possibilities, they would have known that before the game even came out. All right. So anyway, so he says that, and then he goes on, the reason we decided to make this sequel, so the reason this game even exists, Tears of the Kingdom, with the previous game in the first place, is because we felt that the new play, so their new ideas, was worth experiencing in that Hyrule place. So the new ideas they had for Zelda, they thought were worth it.
Didn't he say it's because the game itself is a DLC?
Well, okay, we'll get to that in a moment. No, he technically that's an old comment from him. Yes, we can get to that.
No, I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, I know you are. That was a lot of trolls out there still parroting that to this day. It's just DLC, $70 DLC. What garbage is it? Anyways, if it's $70, dude, if you want to call it DLC, then it's the greatest DLC ever made. I love it. Just no cap. I'm just throwing that out there. Anyways. The reason why we decided to make the sequel in the previous game in the first place is because we felt that the new play was worth experiencing in that Hyrule. Then, if those reasons are renewed, we may go back to the same world, whether it's in a sequel or a new work, I think, or whether it is a sequel. So he's talking about the next game here, whether it is a sequel. So whether it's a sequel to Tears of the Kingdom or it's a brand new world, I think it'll be a new way to play, and I hope you will look forward to it. So literally, there's no DLC coming. The only thing they're focusing on is the next Zelda game. And he's not going to say it's not going to be a sequel to Tears of the Kingdom, but he's also saying it's probably going to be something new. And Fujibayashi heavily hinted that it's going to be something new with his previous comment. But basically, there's no plans for DLC. It's not happening. I don't think they're changing their mind later. If they want to revisit this Hyrule, it's going to be because they have a new idea. Now, there's a lot of implications with this that we got to get into that go even beyond new content. But one thing I want to point out, and Taurus had to bring it up with one of his member chats, saying Prime called no DLC for Tears of the Kingdom. How did you know? And I will state, I did not know. I had a suspicion before the game came out because we were getting too close to the next system that they weren't going to do DLC, but I had talked about DLC possibilities. Then I beat the game. So the reason that I called no DLC, but long before we knew officially, was that when I beat Tears of the Kingdom and I got the true ending, unlike Breath of the Wild, where it left an open door, oh, there's something going on over here. We need to go check out this divine beast, Varuta, yada, yada, yada. This game's ending, and I don't want to spoil it, but it just had a finality to it. It felt like there was nothing else really left. Now, as Andres and I debated in prior podcasts, there were ways you could still go with the DLC in spite of all of that. Of course, there's always, what's going on with Master Koga? He's still around somewhere. Where's Cass? There's no explanation for Cass. There's all these, loose ends that they could create DLC for. But the way the game ended to me just felt emphatic. Like, we're done. We are in a time of peace now. And if we're in a time of peace and Link lost his arm ability, then what are we doing anymore? It's no longer Tears of the Kingdom. We're now in peacetime. So to me, I just look at this as I saw the ending and went, there is going to be no DLC. And I've been very emphatic about it since. I've had lots of people arguing against me. So this is the sort of validation I got today where I snicker a little bit because called it. But then I also go, I wanted to be wrong.
Damn it.
As a content creator, I want it to be wrong because Tears of the Kingdom content just pops. So having a bunch of news for DLC is great for the channel. And on top of that, it's my favorite game of all time. Why wouldn't I want more? But I just sort of had this gut feeling and I stuck by it. So it's sort of a bittersweet, like I'm right, but I don't really want to be right. So your guys' thoughts first off on the fact that there is no DLC.
I think that they know that it was wrong to patch the dupe glitch, so they want to make sure that everyone that didn't patch is not forced to.
Yeah. So real.
They're looking out.
So real.
That's all it's about. We can roll it back, but we're not going to roll it back.
No, I mean, I think that the Tears of the Kingdom is the DLC. It's it's not actually I think it's
I'm
much
about to
better
reach across
than
the
a
screen
DLC.
and slap the hell out of you, man.
It's not a DLC. Don't get me. I'm not saying in terms of quality. I'm just saying I think it's like Mario Galaxy 2. I think it's something in that scenario where the creators thought, hey, we have all these new ideas, let's do a DLC, but then they just kept building and building and we're like, oh, let's just make a new game. And so I think they're just tapped, and I think that they're just happy with the state of the game the way it is now.
Yeah, and honestly, when I was thinking about DLC, something I thought might be cool would for them to add more Zonai devices and stuff. But when you look at the game, it's like they already had that thought, and the stuff that they would add for DLC for extra Zonai devices, they just put them all in there. Because there's a ton of stuff that you don't even touch. There's almost too much, which is good.
Yeah, according to an interview, they actually the Famitsu interview went deep diving into the development of Tears of the Kingdom. And one of the things they said is they actually had hundreds of ideas for Zonai devices.
I bet. Yeah.
But they narrowed it down to the ones that allowed the most freedom, because a lot of the ideas were very narrow in how you could use it. It would only really do this one thing, and there really wasn't any other thing you could do with it. And so they wanted to choose devices that opened up creativity. So a fan, it blows air. Well, with our physics engine, imagine what you can do with just a fan. And some of the ideas they had were more so oh no, it just wasn't, it didn't fit the nature of what they were going for. So I too thought maybe new Zonai devices could be a thing, because I can maybe think of some ideas off the top of my head that could maybe be really cool to try out. Mm-hmm. But I mean, honestly, what they have now is already incredible. Also, one thing I do want to note, from the this interview that isn't being talked about is they mentioned the game wasn't actually seamless until literally months before the game came out. You could not jump from a sky island and dive down to the depths. It just did not work. It did not function. And so they wanted to make sure to give the developers a huge shout out for that entire year of polish. A huge chunk of it was trying to make that work because they weren't sure if it was actually going to make it that seamless in the final game. They thought they were going to have to put a load screen. And they didn't. Now you could argue it sort of is a load screen because the holes are so deep, but apparently it's not because you can, if you didn't know, you could tumble down those holes all the way down. It's not a load. There's a physical thing you can interact with. So, big credit to them. Also, it shows that like some of their ideas are bigger than what Switch can do. The Zelda team's ready for new hardware.
Definitely. I can't wait to see what they do with better hardware because they're a team that will absolutely take advantage of it.
Oh, it doesn't look graphically that much more impressive. I'm like, dude, the things they're doing with this game shouldn't even be. Dude, look, guys, Starfield isn't seamless. It's got load screens everywhere.
Get the
everywhere.
They're pretty quick.
Get the ass.
They are quick. They're not bad. They also have
like
load sequences. Every time you land on a section of the
bad.
planet, it's like a 15-second, pre-rendered landing sequence, and that's loading. Those pre-rendered sequences, it's loading. That's what they're doing. They're loading the planet. So it's fine. By the way, tons of games have load screens, but like for the Zelda team, Breath of the Wild was seamless. We want this to be seamless too. Like it wasn't even like an option to them. They wanted this to be seamless. So now they set that expectation now. They also briefly talked about those fan expectations. They asked Fujibayashi, hey, are you worried that, hey, Breath of the Wild set the bar here. Tears of the Kingdom somehow set the bar even higher. The expectations for this next game are going to be to go even higher. And he literally just said, yeah, I'm not worried about the fan expectations. We're going to exceed anything they could think of. And then literally Famitsu just burst out laughing. There's a huge mic drop moment. And then he comes back in and he basically just says, yeah, dude, like our where I want to go with Zelda is like so far beyond what any of the fans have even conceptualized, is essentially what he said. So it's like, what bar? Our bar is way higher than even a fan could imagine. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. What does that mean, Fujibayashi? I don't know what that means. All I know is, well, damn, is this going to become a pattern where every new Zelda game that comes out just becomes my new favorite Zelda game because Fujibayashi just keeps raising the bar? I don't even know how you how do you go from a goatee to a potential another goatee, and then you raise the bar even? How do you?
I will say that
that team, man.
The expectations I had going into Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo met them. I had high expectations. And when I say, and I don't just mean like in a vague sense, like I don't want to spoil the game too much, but kind of like a lot of what I thought the game would be was kind of what it was. Like they went in the directions that we didn't really think, some people didn't even think would be possible, but they did. I'll just say big giant boss fight. For those that know, right? The obviously the depths, like in from the skies, like just how much goes on there. I recorded just a little bit of Tears of the Kingdom footage earlier today, and I was just kind of walking on the surface of Hyrule, and it's just kind of interesting. You're walking on the surface of this already incredible vast open world, and yet you see these dozens of vast and varied islands in the sky that you can go to. Like it just kind of when you put that into perspective, like it's just kind of mind-boggling. So what I'm getting at here is that I have full faith in the Zelda team, and I think that they know what they got to do, and given
I trust them so much, yeah,
right. And I guess my main point here is that I feel like I have a decent pulse of where they're headed because I was pretty much spot on with kind of where they went with this game. Not saying I know what the next game is going to be. That's not what I'm trying to say. I just mean like in terms.
It's hard to
of,
know until we at least see a teaser for it.
Yeah. But I guess just like in terms of their ambition and scope, like I think they're going to do some really crazy things. And when they have more powerful hardware, that's going to be an actual legitimate next generational leap. we're gonna see something insane.
We're gonna.
It's just gonna take 5 years.
One thing that I that I hope the next game will have, one criticism I have, even though this is definitely my favorite game that I played this year, and one of my favorite games of all time. Definitely, it might be like a top 2 or 3 Switch game, but at least top 5, just off the top of my head. But I wish there was a little bit more story, or like they did it in a way that made me a little more invested. And I know that Zelda is not really ever had like an intense story, but I guess like you look at a game like Twilight Princess, there's some more like character development with Midna. And one of the things specifically that Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild did it too, is a lot of your motivation and like what's going on is based on things that you as the player didn't experience. It's stuff that happened hundreds of years ago or in the past, you know, including like what's going on in the other factions and when you get the last sage. And it's like, I want to experience the full story. Like, I don't want to like be going through this game, like hearing about all this cool stuff. Like, I guess I want a game where it's, I want background for stuff. I want to like get some lore, but I guess I want more of like a focus to be on me experiencing all the cool things. If that makes sense.
Well, that moment, you brought up Twilight Princess, that moment when Zant just wrecks her. Like you're all like she's feeling all confident because you just completed the mask, and you're like, yeah, she thought that's what you needed to and he just nope, Link and you're just wrecked. And then you have to take Midna over to Zelda, and she has to do what she does to save her. You felt a deep connection to Midna because you went through a huge chunk of that journey with her. There were things that happened that weren't about you that you find out later, but you went through this journey of this jerk who's just poking fun at you and treating you like you're a little bitch, and had a growing relationship.
Then all of a sudden you care about it. Like,
yeah, like you didn't even realize how much you cared until Zant just kicked the shit out of her, and you're like, holy, what did you just do? You didn't. No. I'm gonna take, and then you can't do anything either.
That's what I want. Like even a game like Ocarina of Time, it's not a crazy story, but I felt more like I cared about defeating Ganondorf. You know, like it mattered to me.
And I will say, like,
that's a little bit of what I'm missing.
Tears of the Kingdom gave me that with Zelda, and I don't want to spoil a lot, but I think the huge reason that the Zelda stuff resonated was because it was a longer adventure that spanned 2 games. So I had a care for a character that wasn't just built up in a single game. It was 2 games of build up for my care for, because I cried. I cried at some moments with the Zelda stuff
without ever having played Breath of the Wild, and it really didn't make much of a difference. You know,
so many difference to me.
Stuff, but it's like all new characters basically.
Like when Zelda fell down that pit.
That kind of brought it down a little bit for me.
Yeah, when Zelda fell down the pit, like I already gave a shit about her, even though I knew it was happening.
I think we just have different opinions because, like, for me, I make theory videos on this, right? So I get different perspectives in all my comments, right? Everyone feels very differently about the game, but for me, I actually felt like they connected Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom pretty well. I do kind of see how like they didn't do it as much to maybe leave it open for those who want to just kind of jump in. But for me, it was enough so it felt like a connected adventure. And I actually, something I really appreciate about Ocarina of Time was that there was this connection between Link and Ganondorf, which really made the final fight have a strong payoff. But I actually was happy with what they did with Ganondorf in Tears of the Kingdom. Like if you do all the memories, you do all of the, you do the extra. I don't know.
Yeah, it's so hard to talk about those spoil stuff. Yeah,
but if you do every single story thing, like I feel like they give you a
I
decent
100%
amount
in it, except for the Korok seeds.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just a difference of opinion, right? Like for me, I felt like they gave us that connection. Like I felt like the
it's just a difference of how
I will say
the difference is how you experience a story. Like there's a story you play, and then there's a story told.
So much better than Ganon in Breath of the Wild.
Oh,
like that was
that's night and day.
Yeah.
Ganon was nobody. He had no personality in the first game.
That was the worst.
I'm evil. Blah, blah,
blah. They improved in pretty much everything, I feel, in Tears of the Kingdom. But like I said, it's just like all this, like you said, there's no cast. All the sages, they're just gone. And like it makes sense, like they explained it, but like it's just I wish there was more.
I think you're gonna get more in this
Continuation.
new Zelda game, the one that's coming up. I think they're gonna get away from the memories because there's a lot of things that like made Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom what they were, and a lot of similar things that made it familiar. And I think that the way they're hinting that they're sort of going to go in a new direction, they aren't really sure where the whole thing's going to be yet. Because of course they know they're super early in development. They're not really sure exactly where this is going to go yet.
Oh, I know.
So unless it's a sequel, which they didn't rule out entirely, they just sort of hinted that we're not really thinking of doing a sequel right now. They're not really thinking of going back, which tells me that the direction they're going with this next one is new. But I think they want to leave the door open because Nintendo has revisited parts of the timeline in the past, like at different times, where they brought games that are still connected to old games, even though they went away from it for a while and stuff. So I think they want to slam the door shut on this Hyrule and these characters just in case they decide to revisit it someday. But I do think that at least it sounds to me like they're going to be going in with a new world and a new Link, a new Zelda, a new whatever.
I think I'd want that.
And I think that what's cool about that is it resets your expectations as well. So you're going to have people going in like, oh man, we're going to do memories again. There won't be memories. It's going to be something different. They're going to do something because like all the things that sort of made it tick will be different. I mean, are there some things I wish they would keep that I think it's hard not to have? Yeah, it's hard for me to imagine not climbing everything. It's pretty hard for me to imagine not doing that, but maybe I don't need to because of some new way that they're handling it. Maybe they get rid of it, but now we can hook shot.
One thing I would really like to see, a lot of the building stuff is optional in the game, right? Like you can get by a lot of it without it if you want, or you can get as creative as you want. One of the things that I wish, similar thing, because this isn't a feature that everyone loved, but I would really like it. Have you build Link's house? If you could just do that anywhere, like build like your own little towns or whatever, like I would have a blast with that. And you have the mechanics. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. It feels like they could have done even more, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I feel like for that I feel like that idea just needed new hardware because you'd have to have a lot smarter AI.
Yeah,
and a lot more internet. And again, they're getting it.
It sounds CPU intensive. I don't know.
They're. I mean,
Well,
the rumors on Switch 2 are true. This new Zelda,
man, is because there's a game. It's actually my favorite Switch game above Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild.
Minecraft.
No one played is Dragon Quest Builders 2. And it does.
So it is Minecraft.
Tears of the Kingdom does, but better. Okay. People look at it and just like think it's a Minecraft clone. It's not at all. It's so sick. It's like Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom, but also like Animal Crossing. Like you can recruit different like people to like your towns and stuff. And like I like adore that game. I just got the platinum for it. I just replayed it for like the 10th time. And a lot of the stuff they added to Tears of the Kingdom that was an improvement. I know for a fact they got from that. Like that triggered a lot of the ideas. Sure. A lot of like quality of life improvements. And yeah, I get so when like we get like a little bit of the building like that, that's obviously a big part of that game. And I don't like Minecraft is the thing. So that's why it's like weird. But like I said, it's way more like Zelda than Minecraft. But I've seen a game do that on Switch hardware. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I would love something like that. But that's obviously like my personal taste. And that's why I said, it's something that if you don't want to touch it, if you don't like that, you don't have to. Just like a lot of the building stuff in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, I guess I didn't get a chance to say this part because I was trying to fix the ice maker in my fridge, which I'm not sure I fixed. But like I guess assuming there's no DLC, which probably isn't, but you never really know. Something that kind of disappoints me is I kind of feel like Tears of the Kingdom needs like a master mode or some sort of trial, like some sort of extra challenge. Because as you were sort of talking about earlier, how like we have all these options while the building and such. Like I kind of, you can play through the whole game without it. I just sort of feel like I have so much ability and power. and I don't have a way to really truly utilize it and push it to the max, it would be nice if there was some sort of challenge offered. They kind of gave me more opportunity to really push things. I mean, maybe I could like go back and play 3 heart challenge or something, just never like actually get a heart piece or something like that to make it harder.
4 heart.
And that would 4 heart. 4 heart
They
challenge.
require the 4. Yeah.
And that would be hard. That would be very hard. But like Matt, at least like I kind of like it when there's natural ways provided to offer more challenge. Like the Trial of the Sword in Breath of the Wild was amazing. Like that was some pretty sick challenge. That
might have been my favorite part.
It was really good. Even like the
Yeah.
Obliterator segment in the Wave 2 part was really cool. Even Master Mode was nice. Like it feels weird that we don't have a difficulty option in Tears of the Kingdom, but there's a difficulty option in every other prior Zelda in the last like.
You think like they
decade and
could
a half.
add a difficulty option and just not count that as DLC? Maybe that's what he meant.
Maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna
a
say
free
Master
update.
Mode. I put it in the notes. Master Mode could be just a free update. They just don't
Yeah, I
count
could
that as
totally see
DLC.
that actually.
Like, hey, yeah, here have it.
The
Well,
only
we'll
reason
free it.
not to do it would be because they did charge for it before. So then now you're not going to charge.
NSO.
Yeah, and the NSO
Yeah.
subscribers only get it. Oh.
Feels.
That would be
I-
one way
I
to push
honestly-
it.
I'm gonna say I don't think they're adding anything. I don't think they're adding even the Master Mode stuff. I think they felt like this game was already a step up in difficulty over Breath of the Wild, and they're just really satisfied with the way it is. Like
Someone just had a good point in the chat that they added Dread mode to Metroid Dread and they didn't count that as DLC.
sure.
Yeah,
For
there were
sure.
free updates. So maybe there could be some free updates. Like actually, the Metroid Dread had some pretty cool free updates. That wasn't just Dread mode. Like there was a boss rush mode and stuff. So
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
like they offered a lot of hours of replayability for
Sure.
free. So
Also,
If they do add a difficulty, remember we're counting it as DLC and saying Nate was wrong. Till the end of time.
I don't think they're adding a difficulty anyways.
All right, cool. We got them all.
Because here's the thing. They added the trial, they added the difficulty, and if you actually think about Tears of the Kingdom, not only was it technically, in my opinion at least, I don't know if everyone agrees, a more difficult overall game than Breath of the Wild, just comparing the normal mode to normal mode.
True.
I think it's more difficult. Also, there may not be a trial, but they added a bunch of Colosseums in the underworld that have waves. So I feel like that was their replacement.
they're so easy.
Yeah,
but,
true.
all right.
Yeah, there's a Lionel one.
Yeah, the
that I would
depth is
argue
there.
isn't
Oh,
a joke.
Difficulty.
Those are cream puffs for me, but I hear you.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Lionel one was.
Sure, for
Definitely
you, it's cream puffs, which means on Master Mode, they'd probably still be cream puffs.
And they had like all the Gleox.
Let's just be real. A Master Mode for a
Green.
master is still a cream puff. I've watched people in Master Mode Breath of the Wild make it look like a joke. So
I mean,
I feel like Breath
Yeah,
of the
but
Wild was
dying
the
one hit
hardest, but
definitely.
only like the first part of the game, like when
Like-
you have nothing.
True.
like Andres, I watched you do Master Mode, your Breath of the Wild run before Tears of the Kingdom, and the only reason that it was more difficult is because you still imposed restrictions on yourself.
Oh yeah, it was a Master Mode 3 heart run for a while.
Yeah. So like the only reason it was hard is because you imposed restrictions anyway. So even with Master Mode, people were still not thinking it was that difficult in the damn first place. Like if you're actually really good at the game, oh no, there's another level of enemy that still mostly moves in the same
Hey,
way,
but-
and you can still
But Trial
deal
of
with
the
it.
Sword, like that was
Trial of
hard.
the Sword, yeah, that was hard.
That was hard.
That was
No
hard. That's why so
restrictions.
many people
hard.
remember it so fondly.
Yeah,
Some of the hardcore
that was
fans.
a good
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's
That
because it
was
resets you, right? Like your advantages
Yeah.
don't really
Yeah.
matter. I mean, you could go in with a buff, but that buff's not even going to make it all the way through the trial. So, and when do you not need the buff at the beginning? Like that's not when the buff's really that helpful. So, yeah, I mean, you can have hearts. That's about it. You can have a bunch of hearts and stamina, but like okay, but you have nothing else, and everything else is what makes you good. So, but yeah, but that's why that was good. But then if you think about that. They even took that idea. How many shrines do they just take away all your equipment?
True. They did that a
Yeah.
lot.
Like
in
they
Tears of the
literally just
Kingdom.
took what that
They did a
was and
lot.
spread it out in different
I,
items.
I like that. That was way better than some of the shrines in Breath of the Wild.
yeah.
They got rid of a lot of the
Oh,
shrines.
I died a ton in some of those shrines.
Mhm.
A ton. Because
Yeah,
some
and they
arrow hit
added
me that I didn't see
shrines like
coming,
that.
and it just
No,
Yeah,
I like that because then you have to do it the Nintendo.
It wasn't that I will say it wasn't that I really thought they were hard, but it was just figuring out how I wanted to tackle it, and then sometimes forgetting about an enemy, and that's the one that gets me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess I'm just going through the stages of grief right now. Like right now we're in the bargaining stage because like, oh well, you know, like maybe we won't get like a whole adventure, but maybe we could at least get a difficulty option. Like this is I'm definitely
5 stages
through.
of grief
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
See, or it could just be me. I just didn't expect it in the first place. So, okay, we're not getting it. I'm sorry that that's the video I had to make today. Because I literally said in the video, I wanted to be wrong. I like when I'm wrong. Because usually my takes are like, it's not going to be great. It's not going to be like, it's more like tempered to create low expectations.
Yeah.
So when that actually ends up being the case, it's like, it kind of sucks. But also, I have a rainbow at the end here.
What's your rainbow?
Always a rainbow at the end. And that is
you and I are on the same page on this.
Because there's no DLC. We are getting the new game sooner. And that is exciting to me. Heck, you know, like Andrew said, 5 years from now. Yeah, dude, 2028, I could easily see a brand new Zelda game coming out. That's right in the heart of the new system. That's awesome. That's really cool. And I'm stoked for that. The only way it won't come out
sooner.
The only way it won't come out, it could be even sooner. Maybe it's 4 years. But the only way it won't come out in 2027 or 2028 will be because the Switch 2 tanked. And then they're going to save it for the best.
Yeah, I don't think there's any team I trust more in gaming other than the Zelda team.
Yeah. Even if those things you're disappointed in, you still said it's still a top game for me. Like, that's the thing. They're so
I'm glad
good.
You brought retro.
If the I was gonna say if the Metroid Prime 4, well, one thing, the remaster was already fantastic. So retro's on a great start, great track record to begin with. But there's still it's 1-1. You know, they've only taken one shot. But if Metroid Prime 4 ends up being a banger, I'll probably trust them a lot too. I think they would be.
I don't give them that much credit for Metroid Prime 1 because it was a game already made. Like you just had to make it look pretty. You just don't mess it up. Just don't mess it up. We're giving them credit for not messing up a good thing. It was already a good thing. And don't go over there. I know you and I have disagreed on how much work went into this, but dude, it was already a pre-made game. Just don't mess up a good thing. It's not like, believe it or not, that's actually hard to do. That is worth some credit. How many times have old games come back with remasters
and they're bad?
That they botched it.
Yeah.
And it's bad.
True.
Yeah.
Like I think Secret of Mana's remaster. No, that ain't it. They did it with Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. Messed that one up.
They screwed that up.
They screwed that up bad. It's like not even playable.
Metal Gear Solid.
Like there's been mess ups. So it does mean something to not mess it up, also still be high praised, also still be able to get a 95, and also still have it to be one of the better looking games on a platform. There is credit to be given, but it's not the same as building a game from the ground up.
Just but I haven't gotten a chance to actually say what I think.
I know.
So
I was just throwing that out there.
Defend yourself.
Now go.
I mean, we're on the same page.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're on the same page. Like I think Retro Studios could be a developer that showcases that they are one of the best. I think we have reason to believe that Nintendo has been helping Retro Studios to really build up in the West. They maybe want to have like that premier Western developer like in-house. Like they've been hiring a lot of talent. And maybe we'll see with Metroid Prime 4, we'll see if that's truly the case, right? Supposedly they're already hiring for another AAA project. And so, you know, if that's what they become, that'll be amazing. But the fact of the matter is, before Metroid Prime Remastered, as good of a remaster as that is, maybe like the best remaster you could really, like you possibly could do. Like they did incredible stuff. They showcased that from a technological perspective, they have what it takes to do amazing things. But before Prime Remastered, what did we get from them? It's a huge drought. Since
Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze 2014.
Right. Like that's like what a 9-year gap.
And if this game doesn't come out until next year, that's a decade between new releases for them.
Well, even in what they've reset House since Donkey Kong at that point. That's probably why.
They've reset House several times. Like the reason I think Retro Studios has been having such a hard time, and maybe Nintendo's having a hard time with them. Nintendo's internal development teams don't have a lot of turnover. But Retro Studios does because it's a Western studio, and Western studios have a lot of turnover. And I don't know that Nintendo has been able to manage that as well as companies built in the West who know about that and plan for it and are prepared. Like a lot of Nintendo's employees, they just published this in Japan. They have only had a 7% turnover in the last decade at Nintendo of Japan. 7%. Japanese companies average is 30%. And Nintendo's at 7%. They just don't have turnover. They keep their talent. They're not contract employees. You work at Nintendo in Japan, you're probably working there the rest of your life. That's just the way that company is. So when you have that level of talent, that's why you get this consistency with the Zelda team, with the Mario team. Monolith Soft, gotta give them tons of credit for all the stuff they do. They barely have any turnover. And so you go through all of that. That's all in Japan, where a majority of their games are made. So now they own Retro Studios. Great company. He was independent at one point, helping out with some stuff. Hired the same team, made a slew of games pretty quickly in a 10-year period. And then there's turnover. And Nintendo has like never had to deal with a top tier developer that basically just resets its talent every 10 years. And that's like and I feel like that might be part of the struggle on why it's been almost 10 years since we got a brand new game, is because Nintendo doesn't know how to manage. They want to like make it like Japan, but the people that work in the West, and this is not just, this is just how it works. This industry in the West is all contracts. People aren't looking for full-time. I want a contract because they want freedom. And I know this because I know some game developers in the AAA space that have told me they like that they have freedom, that if they don't like want to work on Call of Duty the rest of their life, they don't have to, because their contract ends and they can go get at a different company and work on a new project. There's a lot of movement in the West, and I don't know that Nintendo's been able to navigate that as well. And now they have 2 Western studios, because they have the one that does Luigi's Mansion now too, out of Canada.
Oh yeah, true.
Level.
So and that one's eventually going to hit the point of there being turnover. So it's going to be interesting to see if Nintendo,
like they've consistently provided good games.
Sure, and so did Retro Studios for a while until turnover. So I think there'll be a point that the contracts end and there'll be turnover, and how's Nintendo going to manage that? So we'll see. Maybe Nintendo's whole plan is, hey, we're planning to end that culture and we're going to bring our Japanese culture into the studios, and people are going to want to stay here full time, which is hard to do because that requires raises, and everyone at some point wants to be a senior level person, and that's just not going to be the case.
Yeah.
So
also from like a creative standpoint, people want to move on to different like creative projects, like not even just
it's weird that in Japan, I mean, literally what Nintendo's doing in Japan, other companies can't do. So it's crazy to me how this all works. But you know what? Maybe this Metroid Prime 4 is a sign, if it comes out and it hits the way we want it, because there's a reality where Metroid Prime 4 actually isn't that great. And I don't want that reality to exist. And it's hard for me to imagine it because Retro Studios hasn't technically released, since they were bought by Nintendo, a game that didn't hit. But I can't say that it's impossible for a bad game not to happen. Like we saw with Other M, and we were really excited about that possibility. We don't know. It's possible it doesn't hit. And if it doesn't hit, then I have no idea. Maybe they even close Retro Studios at that point. But there is, I think that this is like a new era. And if this game does slap the way we want it to, that maybe Nintendo has finally figured out after a decade how to navigate these waters of shifting employees. And then we might start to see more regular releases where they start to realize, hey, we got like, look, Andres mentioned they're hiring people for a new project. Nintendo catching on that we need to hire people for projects ahead of time. We can't just wait until a game comes out and then think we can hire. No. If we want another project, we got to already be signing contracts for that, because the people working on this might not be available to work on that because they already have a new deal signed somewhere else. So maybe if Metro Prime 4 slaps, to me, that's a good sign Nintendo's finally figured out how the West works.
Well, here's maybe another good sign, right? See. Going back to the hiring thing, that they're already hiring for AAA development. That may suggest that they already know what they have as a banger. Like Prime 4. Like
I'm sure
they know.
They're probably confident.
Yeah.
If they're not, oh man.
And the other thing,
to be fair, they were confident in Other M too. So I don't want to.
Well, I mean,
the way they hyped it up before reveal and even into reveal, they thought it was a banger.
Marketing, that's different. I don't know.
Literally, the guy who created Metroid was like, yeah, this is like. Oh, anyways, I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone. They hyped up Other M like it was the next big thing.
It was pretty damn cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed Other M, by the way.
I liked Other M.
They thought it was a banger, and then the fans disagreed.
No.
Yeah, well,
so like them thinking it's a banger doesn't always necessarily mean that it is.
Miyamoto was excited about Star Fox Zero too, so
yeah, he thought it was the future of Star Fox, baby.
Listen, the man's a genius, but even geniuses make mistakes.
Wii Music, dude, he thought that was like the next generation of music games.
Dude, he thought Wii Music was going to be like.
Dude, he thought it was going to be new. He thought it was going to be Wii Sports, the Wii Sports and music games. The next guitar, he thought it was. Oh yeah,
he thought it was going to be Guitar Hero.
I mean,
so like, it doesn't always come together. Nintendo almost thinks everything they release is a good idea and a bang.
Yeah.
Just
as YouTubers, right? Sometimes we do video topics. We're like, oh yeah, this one's gonna be freaking great. It drops.
And then it flops.
Oh yeah, like I guess not.
Yeah, I thought my Prime News video today was really good. 3 titles and 4 thumbnails later, and it's gonna be my worst viewed video in the last 2 weeks. What are you gonna do? Sometimes you just can't make things bang.
Far.
He's a 2-inch destroyer for a reason. He's just destroying my dreams now.
Yep.
And my paycheck, damn bastard.
Something exciting to think about though, like because Metro Prime 4 has taken so long.
Sure.
Yeah, and we don't know how the development process has been, but I'm kind of hoping it's been a little bit like how they've been developing Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, where it's kind of like they have this massive group and they kind of work on it in phases, right? They work on it, then they kind of play it together for a little while, convene to brainstorm, talk about ideas, and go work on it again. Like they came up with this new style of development, which is what led to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like it would be interesting if maybe they kind of incorporated some of those development philosophies with Metroid Prime. I have no idea, right? It would be cool. And if it is the case, maybe a lot of the developers working on this project may think, oh, we want to stick around here. Like this is a development environment where while we may be in one studio, we have a lot of freedom with our creativity. We have a lot more say in what this game becomes. We'll see.
Sure. So let's bring this full circle. There's going to be a new Zelda game at some point. I mean, they've very emphatically been saying they're working on a new one. So before we even get a tease, because tease could be in 2 years, 3 years, who knows? They could tease it whenever.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, it literally could be next year. They could tease it alongside the NAMM Switch 2. Like you just don't know. You just don't know what they're gonna do.
They could give us a teaser.
They could and like a true teaser. Where like it's so early they barely have anything in the show, but it's like a flash of an art or something that you're just like, what is going on?
They could do
like
what
Skyward
they did in
Sword,
2019.
and we end up just like, remember the Skyward Sword art that came out when we didn't even see the game yet? We knew nothing.
I remember all the speculation for that.
Like they could do something like that just to let people know, hey, we're not launching with a Zelda, but it's coming. But anyways, I'm not saying they're going to do that. I think they actually have a lot to show off for the next system, so they're not going to need to do that. But I do think that there's a new Zelda game coming at some point. So before we even get a teaser and can even start just making crap up on the spot, let's start making crap up right now. What's this next Zelda game going to be? Give me your best early first guess.
Goodness.
Here's my idea. All right, so think Star Wars Zelda. Like the Link's gonna have a lightsaber.
Is this because they didn't go to the moon?
Definitely because they didn't go to the
moon. They're going to space, baby. They're going to space. Maybe not even necessarily space, but I love the idea of like just them going full exotic alien world, right? Like you go down to the depths and like it's some crazy stuff. Like I want, like maybe it's a situation where we don't even know, like it's a world. Maybe they even still call it Hyrule, but the way it looks, the way it feels, it just feels out of this world. We have no idea where it is in the timeline. It could be way, way into the past. Could be way, way into the future. It's a mystery, right? It's part of like trying to figure out what it is. But the world we explore is just like this super exotic world. The plants, the animals, they all look very different from anything we've seen before. But there still is like some ancient technology, kind of like that Star Wars vibe, where it's kind of like a merger of like futuristic, but like very ancient old. Which is what they're already doing in the Zelda game, just for the record. Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. That's exactly what they already do. Just but go even further, right? And I think it would be cool.
We got a playable Zelda next game.
No,
There you go.
That'd be awesome.
Hey, you can say whatever you want, Jake. We don't know anything about this game.
yeah, I don't think so. I think they'll just give us a
It
spin-off.
seemed like a lot of people wanted that with the last one, and I feel like Nintendo saw,
Yeah,
that opinion going around.
I think they made Zelda a lot more involved in Tears of the Kingdom. Like I think they know that she should play a more vital role. She shouldn't just be like a damsel in distress. I don't know if that means that she'll be playable in the next mainline Zelda, but like Peach is getting her own game.
Princess Peach.
Yeah,
Does
I'm
Zelda
down
ever
for her to
own-
get a spin-off
own game
title.
at any point.
Yeah, what if that's what they're going to announce? They're going to announce like a Tears of the Kingdom spin-off title. It's about Princess Zelda.
I wouldn't hate that.
Spin-off
Yeah, I
title
wouldn't
for
hate it either.
Zelda with Zelda in it.
Yep. Yep. The Legend
Zelda's
of
the
Zelda.
main character.
Legend of Link.
The Legend
Yeah,
of Link.
like-
The Legend of Link. Yep.
Yes.
It's like with the ROM CDI games where you play as Zelda and you're trying to rescue Link or something. Doesn't one of those play like that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it does. Zelda's Adventure.
Yeah.
Eric, you got any ideas for a new, fresh Zelda game?
Oh, I'd like to see like a split like game where you're playing not only as Link, Zelda, but Ganondorf, and you're trying to get to certain like
Just took.
like-
Are you in my brain right now?
right.
You just took this out of my head.
You get to certain checkpoints in the story that happens, and then you kind of jump over to the next one, and then it all culminates into the final battle between.
Like Game of Thrones style.
True.
That'd be sick. Dude, like I've always wanted a Zelda game that gives you the perspective of both sides, because ever since the Wind Waker, where we got a lot more perspective on why Ganondorf was doing what he was doing, which makes him one of the most interesting Ganondorfs to me, because it's understandable why he feels justified in what he's doing. He's trying to make up for something he feels personally responsible for that was absolutely terrible. And that was Hyrule getting flooded and all those people dying. He wants to make up for that. But obviously the way he's going about it isn't great. Because he doesn't know how to go about it in any way but evil. He still has to be evil. So I always thought like a game in Zelda that lets us see both sides and play from both sides would be interesting. And then when you get to the end, it's like a choose your own ending. Like, do you want the triumph? Or do you think Ganondorf actually been right this entire time? Or it's not Ganondorf, right? Like let's say, like as an example, let's say this game takes place timeline wise after this, and there is no Ganondorf, and it's something fine. But whatever it is, I want there to be like it would be really neat if you could sort of choose which side you actually thought was in the right.
So I love this idea. I'm just gonna put my own spin on it. Like I would love to play as a Gerudo, right? Maybe it feels like a very much like a Sony game where like it's very narrative driven, right? You make a lot of choices. Basically, what you're saying, and that's how it is. You're kind of steering the direction. Do you go more dark? Or do you go more light? Do you become the hero? Do you become?
We gotta be careful. We're getting into Fable territory here.
Oh,
and then the plot twist is that you're Ganondorf.
That Fable's never been able to live up to the promise.
No, but the plot twist is that it's inevitable. Like no matter what you do, you go full evil.
People will be really mad about that because then it means all your decisions were pointless. That they got mad at Mass Effect over that.
No, they could maybe make some slight differences. Like you still become the Demon King, but maybe one part is like.
Oh, I thought you meant you play as a female Gerudo.
Then
you really wouldn't.
Now we're just going all over the place.
Now we're just in spin-off territory.
I was thinking like you just like Ganon.
Not Ganondorf.
Give me a spin-off, dude. Spin-off Tears of the Kingdom game. I'm Riju now. Let's go.
Well,
dude, I'm leaving.
We already know what happens to every like male Gerudo. So like I don't know.
Do we?
No.
Yeah, they get mad.
I mean,
sex.
do we?
Yeah, that part's true.
Wait, the ones that like marry humans, like they still have Gerudo daughters, like in Tears of the Kingdom, though, right? So
yeah,
maybe they don't have that much sex.
Yeah, no, I mean, no. There is a time where the females go out and find male partners. That's part of their lore. Right. So like, they're probably all. But here's the thing: we also see in Gerudo Town, a lot of them came back. I'm sensing like a lot of divorces. I'm sensing a lot of divorces being very common amongst the Gerudo. Like, oh, thank you for letting me have a child.
I don't
Now,
think there's even
goodbye.
marriage. I think they just be.
They probably just cut their heads off. Goodbye.
like a
go
female
back.
praying
Take
mantis
their
or whatever.
daughter.
Just like, all right, poor Terrytown guy, man.
Yep. Bye, Hudson.
Now Hudson's the only one because she stays by his side. So it's like, that's the love story is that she doesn't go back to the Gerudo. She stays by his side.
Well,
Oh,
it's the kid that has to go back.
Yes. But
You
how
don't
many
wanna.
female Gerudo do you see walking around Hyrule? It's not many. You got the one in the
they're usually
Goron
ones that
area.
are like,
I mean, there's really not many in Gerudo Town either. There's like 20.
It's all relative.
It's all relative. They're in the army.
I don't really see anyone walking around Hyrule. It's pretty empty.
Hey, now, don't you insult me,
You see
Hyrule.
the occasional
You are just-
Gerudo journeying
You know what, Jake?
along the path.
We're gonna have to change it from the 2-inch to World Destroyer now. They're just wrecking my.
Yeah.
Anyways,
The destroyers.
You know what I
Zelda
want to
game,
see?
Flam,
What I want to see in
go.
the Zelda game, though.
huh? What did you say? Wait, what?
yeah, Andres, you can go since you were.
Yeah,
we were both
I
talking
got
about
another
it.
idea. We kind of talked about a Ganondorf Fable like spinoff, but that would be a spinoff, not a. You know, I don't want
I'm
that
not
to be
saying
next
spin-off.
mainline.
Whole
Not
game
mainline.
mainline. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, that's wild.
That'd be sick.
But I do kind of want this in the next Zelda game. I do want them to kind of take some cues from the Elder Scrolls series. And when I say that, I mean, I want to play a Zelda game that I want to feel like a living, breathing world. So I want there to be several towns, and each town have dozens of characters that have their own like schedule, their own life. Like they do that, they have that like in Hateno, like, but it's very small by comparison. Like as you were
Clocktown's the
saying,
biggest example where everyone had something going on all the time.
right? But like for example, we were just talking about the Gerudo. Like if we count the numbers, it doesn't actually feel like a real believable world, right? Like it's if you play an actual like Elder Scrolls game, it feels like a believable world. Like you feel like you're going from town to town.
You could also
And
argue
there's-
the Imprison anymore might have wiped out a bunch. So then they
I'm
just
not saying
yeah,
I'm
keep
not
the
saying
number
that-
small in this
Size
world.
going
of,
on
I'm not saying there
actual
isn't story
town.
reasons.
What if there is I kept wondering about this with the Gerudo. What if each Gerudo woman's only allowed to have one child? Like that's a cultural thing.
Oh, what a
Back
So they're
to
just
this.
replacing themselves, basically. And that's why it's so small.
But what if they don't have a child?
Fucking.
Well, then they're
Good luck,
ejected
bro.
from the community and they're putting
And-
all.
And then what about
no idea.
what about the Ritos?
I'm talking about a
Is-
cultural thing here. Come on.
How about the Ritos? Did they just fly too high and die, or do they hit a propeller or something? And then for the Zora, do they just get eaten by a big fish?
No,
What
the
are you
characters
on
age and
about?
die.
Got
What
the
are we talking
population
about?
Control, and then the Gorons, they just get drunk on rocks and fry themselves. Like
What
you're
are we
talking about population control.
You just maybe
No, I'm
think
talking
of, like,
about I'm talking about culture. It's a cultural thing.
humans can.
It's like religious. Like you
Gerudo
got to be
god
married to
equal.
have kids, and some
they be with
religions are
Zora
very
too?
strict about that.
Can humans in Zora breed?
Have
Is that
kids?
bushy? I mean, what?
You know,
I don't know if we.
All right, my Zelda game that I think is gonna happen.
And can Zoras and Gerudo breed? Like what?
Is that
We
how the
know that
Rito?
they,
Is
we
that how
know
the
they can
Rito
fall
are
in love,
formed?
but
Ritos is a no go, right? Ritos got to stay by
Well,
themselves.
the Wind Waker Ritos were Zora.
I don't know, man. What if they do a Breath of the Wild, but it's
Crossbreeding,
like
I don't know
but
what's
it's like
happening.
Majora's Mask, where there's like a time mechanic. So like kind of building off of what Andre said, where there's like a time mechanic. So then you have
never-
each town has
Okay.
like or maybe like people like it. Maybe you don't have something where you have to go back in time all the time, or maybe like the weekly schedule repeats. And so then if like you want to do something at this time during this day of this week, then it just the week repeats and everybody repeats the same week. I don't know. I think it'd be an interesting concept to explore. I just think you should make it a little bit easier and not as convoluted as Majora's Mask is. I think Majora's Mask is a great game, but I think it's a very high bar to entry, if that makes sense. In my opinion, I think it's once you get there and you get it, you're like, oh, okay. But like,
Majora's Mask is a hard game.
it's a hard game. It's a very hard game. Yeah. But imagine Breath of the Wild with something cool like that. That'd be neat. Or what if like there was like time? Maybe there is the time thing, right? And then there's like each area you free for you go to different areas and you free them from time loops. That'd be neat. That'd be neat. kind of, you know, they're like trapped in a bubble, kind of mixture of like how the Twilight
Bubble
Princess like Shadow Realm, but then you put it under like a spell time thing, and they're doing the time loop. And you can even have it to where each time bubble is set. It doesn't even have to be set like when Ganon attack. It could be like a time bubble hits and they're back in the past of when the original Ganon attack happened. So everybody's like preparing for war in this bubble, but then the Gerudo are like thrown into the future for some reason, and the Gerudo are preparing for something that happened in the
feels
future.
like a plot line from the
Yeah.
TV show Once Upon a Time.
I mean, maybe, I don't know, man.
think
I'm
that's
just saying that'd be neat.
It would be cool though. That would be
Yeah,
pretty cool.
sorry. I had to.
Sorry, if you kept saying that, it just really made me literally have flashbacks to Once Upon a Time. I've seen every episode of that.
I don't
show,
even know what
and
that
I'm
is.
like, it's okay. It's
No idea is original.
Yeah,
No, I'm just
it's
kidding.
okay. I don't think a lot of people in my audience will have seen Once Upon a Time. The fact
Yeah,
the fact
but-
that I just admitted to it probably just got me canceled. So
Twin mold was trash. Someone says in chat. I don't even know what they're referring to.
yeah, I don't know. The chat's doing some weird things. Eric's over here researching. I don't know what he's doing. You trying to find more male Gerudos? I was gonna say,
Why
the
are
only
we
one
still
we've
on
ever
this?
seen is Ganondorf. I'm just throwing
God
that out
damn
there.
it.
Technically, it's the only
God
one we've ever
damn it.
seen. I can already tell you that one. That got that answer. That trivia is locked in.
Yeah.
Might change someday.
Oh, who is saying that? Oh, it was Andres, right? You were saying that you might want to see something in space.
Oh yeah.
Because
Oh,
what
yeah.
about
Sci-fi
like
Zelda.
the Zonai world, like where they came from?
Yeah.
Ooh, that'd
baby.
be sick.
You get to visit
That'd be
the
a good
Zonai
sequel.
planet.
Ooh, 'cause
There
they
you
do
go.
Land
kinda
of
There's your
Zonai.
threequel. There's your threequel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's your
Land of it is actually a sequel to Tears of the Kingdom, but it takes place in an entirely different world, and Link and Zelda go to space.
Yeah.
It's called Land of the Zonai. That's the game.
They use all those Zonai devices to build a rocket ship, and here we go.
true. There do be straight up rockets in the Zonai
No,
tech, huh?
They legit like the main characters go to another planet. Like, let's go. Would I be
except
upset?
now the Zonai that are on their home planet have developed technology so much more than what was left behind in Hyrule.
Yeah, you land
Yeah.
there, and compared to what they have, you look like you just arrived in a tin can.
That's actually not a bad idea.
There's
It's
so
like
much
glued together with
potential,
Link's
'cause-
Ultra Hand.
Because then you also ask yourself, like, what happened to the Zonai? Like, why did they descend? Like, what's the reason behind that? Why did the Zonai
Yeah,
have a
a
third
lot
There's
of
a lot
eye?
of
know.
potential for story there.
Yeah,
True.
it'll probably
And
one of those things that never gets answered, like so many other things in Zelda.
I mean,
but
probably, but
Like why
it would be
like
cool.
who are the Twilight people and all that stuff.
how about all the tech in Skyward Sword? There's a whole era that we've never seen.
That makes me so sad. I love that's like my favorite area of Skyward Sword. Is the desert like time travel thing, and that's why I kind of like that concept and
yeah,
maybe
the
in
time
more
system.
time
Oh, there was
systems.
this massive
So cool.
technologically advanced society that we've never been able to really see. Have a good day.
Yeah,
Just some
and,
remnants. Have a good day.
Yeah,
All right,
an
cool.
ancient advanced civilization in the oldest Zelda game of the timeline.
Yeah,
implying a
with
far
nothing else,
greater history.
nothing else future until Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild had any sort of technology on that level in any of the Zelda games. What is going on?
I have
Turns out
If-
that was
if-
also Zonai.
if there's another really I have a somewhat hot button topic to talk about that's Pokemon related.
Can I have
Oh,
2
no.
seconds here?
The
Oh,
Can I have 2 seconds, Flam?
Yeah, no,
Eric
yeah,
always
take your
coming in.
time.
Like,
Sorry.
Let me shut you down.
Can I have 2 seconds, Flam? Sorry.
No, yeah,
2
take your
seconds.
time.
What
Take
about
your time.
2 seconds is more
what if
than
yeah,
enough.
right? No, what about a game where Lincoln and Ganondorf have to team up going against Demise?
Let's go
That'd be
against
neat.
Demise returns.
Demise.
Demise returns, and Ganondorf and Link got to team up to stop him.
That's what I thought was
Or
going to happen
something.
in Tears of the Kingdom, but it didn't.
A lot of
yeah.
people thought Demise
Yeah.
might come back. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
They
So
can do anything they
that's what I
want.
was trying to find. I was trying to find
We-
the name of Demise.
We can
for some odd
argue. We
reason.
can argue. You know whether Demise is still around or not. It doesn't really matter because Nintendo retcons everything all the time. So
Yeah.
they can do whatever they want. But
All right.
anyways,
Hot button topic time.
all right, hot button topic.
Okay,
Flam. What do you got?
So, in the Pokemon community, there is a sect called the Fakemon community, aka there's a lot of people that make their own Pokemon,
Fake Pokemon. Yeah.
fake Pokemon. They do it for the games. They do it for their own regions, own content, YouTube videos. I have a buddy named Pragmagic on YouTube. If you guys want to check him out, he does a lot of this. He's like the leading edge of the Fakemon community, if you will, or one of them, at least in content on the content side. Anyways, there's a big debate right now that Game Freak has been stealing their ideas, like the community's ideas, a lot. And they say that for a couple of reasons, there's like a lot of examples in the most recent games of like people's ideas for these mons being stolen. So like the giraffe Raikou, and then there's like a flower mon that somebody came up with. I mean, literally a year before the game came out. That matches one that's in Scarlet and Violet. And then there's also one. There's also the issue of in Pokemon's like copyright statement or like whatever they say that like they can take, like I think it says something along the lines of they can use fan-made Pokemon, like if they define it, if the fans that draw it define it that way, they can use it as inspiration / whatever for their purposes. So thoughts and opinions on that.
So
if that is the case,
can you send us like any like
I know you're right. I know they can do that, but my question is like how? Because if I was just like, hey, anyone that
like legally
makes a Jake Randall drawing or makes a Finger Guns related drawing, I'm allowed to use that exclusive. Like I can't just say that and have it be true. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hang on.
If it's based on your likeness, you can.
Like if someone makes a Zelda drawing, they're not just like, we own that. Like if it's clearly supposed to be Link, we can do whatever we want with that and not pay you. Like you can't do that.
Well, they can actually. They just don't. That's the thing is like from a legal perspective, they can. Them actually doing it, they don't because you don't want the community to turn against you.
That's also.
But the accusation is that the Pokemon Company is doing it.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
I want to see.
I have a short
came up
from
when
my
they
buddy.
stole that song for their trailer. They
I'm
literally
not
just
talking
did it.
about that they're doing it or not doing it. I'm just saying, like, I don't
like it's
understand
parody
the
at that
basis
point.
for saying that they can take anything they want.
Yeah.
So there's the exact law for it. I can't remember, but it's basically because they have taken something that doesn't belong to them and then
But if it's a
reformed it in their
Fakemon,
own
it's
way.
not. It doesn't belong to anyone because it's not a Pokemon.
Sure.
This is a 30-second short
Okay.
by my buddy, the person I mentioned, Pragmagic, that is giving examples of this.
I got it. Yeah, I got it. All right.
I want to see the
prefacing everybody.
comparisons because
So let's see.
All
some
right,
of these
let's see what's
comparisons.
going
Be
on.
taking ideas from the Fakemon community. There are a few examples in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet of concepts or designs for Pokemon that are a little too similar to certain Fakemon. Fakemon artist Bulby Boy took note of a striking similarity between a Fakemon he made back in 2020 and the new Pokemon Palafin, even down to it having multiple forms. Another creator, Diego
This is one I
Monster
was
Lab,
referring to.
showed
That's
that the
pretty,
new
like,
Pepper
on the
Pokemon
nose.
Scovillain looks almost identical to his Fakemon Burniper. Another example is Tarountula, who looks very much like Weavara from Ada's Fakemon. What do you think? Do you believe
That was just a couple examples, but
yeah. So this is my perspective on it. I'm not saying like. First off, there are just so many Pokemon designs that are there's so many Pokemon being made, and oftentimes these Pokemon ideas are based off concepts. So I think people are likely to come up with similar ideas. I've come up throughout my entire life. I've come up with so many ideas that I've seen in movies or commercials immediately afterwards. Like it just happens all the time.
Would you agree that? Well, that I'm sure that happens a lot of the times where it's just two people have the same idea and they never saw. Would you think that out of 1,000+ Pokemon, maybe some of them were taken from inspiration that people had made? You think that's possible for some of them as well?
It's kind of hard to prove too, right? Like
yeah,
It's hard to
that's
prove.
the thing. Yeah,
and like even like the legal perspective we talked about for like they're completely original creations, but you're still calling them Fakemon, which means you're still basing it on Pokemon.
But Fakemon is not trademarked.
No, it's not. Of course, it's not
True.
trademarked. But it's not really the brand. It's that you like the whole reason. Why do we know about Fakemon? Because the community is built around Pokemon. So the relation's there. It's not like Fakemon people are pretending their passion isn't coming from Pokemon. So it's not like they're making Digimon characters and that's what's being taken in,
And I think the point of it is, I think that it's like the ultimate. It's like, what is it? Imitation's the ultimate form of flattery.
Flattery.
And I don't think that people are mad that they're taking the ideas. I think it's just that they're mad that they're taking the ideas without getting any credit. Like
yeah.
I'm sure if the Pokemon, if someone from Game Freak or whoever is in charge of like the artistic design was like, hey, it reached out to that artist and was like, hey, we would like to make a Pokemon inspired off of that. They're the biggest fucking media franchise in the world. I'm sure they could give them some sort of royalty and be like, or just be like, hey, can we use this design? We'll give you this amount of money.
Jack it and say,
well, here's the thing. I'm actually kind of on the Pokemon company's side on that because, well, I don't think that they should have the right to like take any design. Like when it showed the Palafin one, it was like the pink one. If they would have copied that exactly, that
first one they showed to me was
inspired by it.
Yeah,
and make your own. Like that's, I mean,
that's what that first one looked like.
Like we'll see like a YouTube video on a topic and we'll put our spin on it.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. You know,
that very first one they showed,
do that.
like, oh yeah, someone noted that they took the design. I was like, no. That just looks like they saw it maybe and then created their own.
If there's more ones that are as like egregious as the pepper one,
the pepper one.
Yeah, that one was pretty on the nose. I was like,
that's a little different. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was another one I saw on Twitter. It didn't show on that video. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen they're doing Paradox Pokemon, right? In the new games. They did a Paradox Pokemon of Raikou from Generation 2.
Well,
and
here's the thing.
Giraffe-like, and somebody made that on Twitter.
Yeah, but they did that after the original Paradox Pokemon came out, so they could kind of guess it would be dinosaurs. So
True.
A lot of people, it wasn't even one person, a lot of people designed a Raikou like that.
That's true.
They basically took the legendary dogs or whatever you want to call them.
Saw
and,
that one was a dino,
dinosaur
and then started.
A few of them happened to be the long neck, and so that one's like kind of like.
Yeah,
they probably had the design done before they even showed the first form.
I think
that's the thing. Yeah, so
that's true. Yeah, no, that's
just for those.
Something
that's just for those.
In those,
but the bell one, like the bell pepper thing, like that was. There's some that one's
the color palette. That's why I mean that was crazy.
It's
Well,
it's hard to deny they probably
though,
that.
Or maybe they just had the same. It's based on the same concept though.
Oh, you're probably right. Yeah.
Yeah,
because they're making a bell pepper Pokemon.
There's a deal. Well, what if we make it based off the bell pepper and it's a fire grass type? Like that might just be like a natural, logical choice to go in that direction.
Yeah, that's very true.
So I'm honestly not convinced. Well, the ones you saw, none of them. I'm convinced that they were copies. Yes,
one thing I thought was
similar,
interesting is like the dolphin one. Like if you are pretty familiar, you would have seen that like they both had the heart on them, and that's kind of a weird coincidence.
That's the thing that kind of convinces me about that. That if they aren't copying verbatim, they're definitely taking like heavy inspiration.
Like it's like
which I mean, that's
design,
not really illegal.
You can only do so much with it. Everyone's going to look similar, but the fact they made the superhero form and they both had on both forms the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Like why would you put a heart on a dolphin? Maybe that's like another theme that I don't know, but like I don't know.
Yeah. Just thought would be an interesting topic of discussion.
Sure, no, for sure.
No, it is interesting because you know, setting aside the legal side, there's just the morality and like. Is the community really that mad, or do they just want credit? But then, do they really expect them to like put their names in the credits of a game?
I mean, yeah, like even just that would be, I'm sure, would be.
Well, like, there's people that work on the games that are still fighting to get their names in the credits of games.
That's true.
So, like, a fan who came up with the design that maybe someone glanced at and then made their own version, I don't know that they're gonna care that much about that when we have like literal people that are game devs that can't even get their name in the credits.
Well, I mean, Game Freak can't even finish a game, much less write the credits. I mean, I guess they signed Ed Sheeran, but they got that going for them. But like,
it's like
sorry, I will dunk on Scarlet and Violet.
I feel like it has to happen because you see it happen in games all the time. Like the Street Fighter 6 logo, remember that?
Yeah, true.
Or it was just like an actual like stock image.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh well. But anyways, that's some that's happening.
That's all right.
On the Pokemon side of the world.
We did have one question submitted for the Q&A section. I just want to get it in here from Fear and Kaiser for $2. Said, think we'll ever get a Four Swords / A Link to the Past for Game Boy Advance NSO. And before we answer, guys, if anyone else has some questions, that's all you do. You just super chat it in for as little as $2. We show it on screen. We answer. Otherwise, we get to the end. Or if you can use a member chat as well.
Well, there's kind of no reason to put A Link to the Past for GBA when we already have it for Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Agreed.
But why would you put 4 swords and not just include the whole ROM?
Yeah,
Well, you
So
say
I
that
feel like
they
they
did.
wouldn't. I feel like they wouldn't do it because then you'd have to add the multiplayer for a GBA game, which they have multiplayer for N64 and stuff. But I
Four
don't know.
Swords
It seems
remaster.
like
Here
too
we
much effort.
go.
Yippee!
but like 4 Swords multiplayer wouldn't be that hard to do.
Yeah, but
People have already ROM hacked to do it, so like like they've pretty much any game that can be multiplayer, they add multiplayer on NSO. So like I just don't. Maybe that's the problem they're having with Mario Party 3. I don't know because they already put multiplayer on a Mario Party game on Switch already or on NSO.
NSO, yeah.
Why are they
Mario
having
Party
why,
1?
why would they be having a problem with Mario Party 3?
Yeah, that's what I don't understand is like why is it taking so long for Mario Party 3 to come out when they've already done it with 1?
I don't think it's. I think it's just a random order. I don't
They're
think
just
there's anything
trying to drip
it.
feed it with us. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think there's
Drip
anything
feed.
more to it than that. I think
Drip
it makes
feed
more
it.
sense to spread them out because why would you release Mario Party 1, 2, and 3 all in a row? I think it makes more sense to have different things in between.
Okay.
I also feel like there's just not enough demand for 4 swords. And like a franchise like Zelda, even though they drop games that no one cares about all the time on NSO, they wouldn't want to do that with like a franchise like Zelda that they care so much about. I feel like they would want anything they drop to be a bigger deal, kind of.
So I think they're gonna do it, and it'll happen.
You think
on
they're
Switch
gonna do
too.
it?
It's gonna happen. It'll be on Switch too, but they'll do it.
All
I
right.
think it's gonna happen. Just
Sure.
I don't know. None of us know. Just throwing it out there. Someone's got to be on the side that it's going to happen. I'm assuming this person wants it to happen, or they wouldn't ask. So I got to give them some hope.
I hope for them. I hope for them it happens.
We had a couple member chats, and this one's not much of a question. We just didn't feature later. It says from Taker 6 Senses, Ganon saw Bowser turn into a castle by grabbing a mysterious stone and thought, "Hey, that's cooler than what I got. I want to be a castle." So
I love it.
There you go.
Nice.
Then we have an actual question submitted here through a member chat. So Samuel talks about games. Says, I missed the podcast. However, I'll watch it at work and catch the end. Now, my question for you is: do you see Switch 2 coming out early to mid 2024?
Hell yeah.
Mid 2024. I really don't see early. I see mid or late, honestly.
No, I see like between like March and June.
Oh, all right.
I already said they were going to unveil it. So
They don't want to. After what happened with the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, no company is going to want to drop a new console coming up to the holidays. They're going to want to make sure when that initial demand is there, that they don't have 0 units. You know what I mean? Because they're all sold out.
That's valid.
Switch launched in March. I know that, again, Wii U was bombing, so it's a little different situation. But
And the reason I say March to June is because they're going to do it right at the beginning of a quarter.
Q2, baby.
Yeah.
Or right at the end if it's March.
Yeah.
Heading into a new quarter.
I mean,
I want to be.
which was March.
But I think if it's in March, they're announcing it before the end of the year. Game Awards, December.
Yo, that'd be
Tease,
crazy.
Full blowout January, release March.
Not Phil Spencer. What's his name that does? Jeff Keighley
Actually, I
would
could
go
see that.
crazy. Jeff Keighley would be jumping up and down for joy.
Oh, dude, he would be.
I don't
I
think
mean, he was jumping up for joy. He got Xbox Series X. So like,
Oh yeah, he'd
I don't think
be.
Nintendo would give it to him. They don't.
I don't think they
like
would either.
to show stuff at the Game Awards. They really don't.
they did
The last
last
Game
year.
Awards, the only thing they showed was a commercial. They didn't even
Yeah.
show anything.
Yeah, no, that's valid. The last time that they showed something crazy, Nintendo showed something crazy at the game. What did they announce? Was it Breath of the Wild at Game Awards? What was it at Game Awards that they showed that was like crazy?
Yeah, they had Breath of the Wild's first revealed gameplay at the Game Awards.
That's
Like
right.
actual
yeah.
gameplay.
So they didn't announce it, but they showed gameplay.
They showed something last year. I'm trying to remember what it was though. It was the first time they had showed something since Reggie retired. And it wasn't just the commercial. God, what did they show?
I know that Doug Bowser was in attendance. I believe. I remember that.
Yeah, Doug Bowser attends every year. He because Nintendo wins some sort of award every year, so he's always there.
They always get that family friendly.
But they actually had something showing at their. I'm trying to remember what it was because last year was the first year they had done
was
it.
it Arceus? No. I don't think so. Oh yeah, Arceus came out. No,
2
Arceus
years
came out
ago.
early last year. Yeah, maybe, but I don't think that's what it was.
Yeah, Fire Emblem Engage. They had Fire Emblem Engage. They announced the expansion
Fire
pass.
Emblem. That's just, yeah.
They also had a new
Sure.
trailer for the Mario Bros. Movie there as well. That's two big things they did at the
Well,
Game
The
Awards.
Mario movie.
So one game thing.
Yeah.
What do you mean one game? It's only ever been one. Back when they used to unveil, it was always just one game thing. And
That's
that
what
was
I'm
the
saying.
upcoming game they had announced. At that
And,
point,
like,
we didn't know.
DLC for
much of
Fire Emblem
anything else.
Engage is not like equivalent to like a new system.
Well, no, duh.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm not saying that they're going to announce it at the Game Awards.
Bayonetta-
I'm saying that I can
Bayonetta
understand a
Origins, too.
tease there.
I'll say the timing makes sense.
Bayonetta
for sure.
Origins. Yeah, Bayonetta Origins, I guess, was there too, and that's a Switch exclusive.
But also, the timing makes sense, but it also like, how do you think people would feel that just bought a Switch for their kids for Christmas? It's
I don't
sitting
think they
under the
care.
tree wrapped.
Yeah, I really.
I don't think they
give a
care.
shit.
Parents usually don't buy the latest and greatest for their kids. They
Yeah, they
literally
kinda-
waited till 7 years in to buy their kids a Switch. They're not caring that, a new system's coming. Cool, I'll buy it for them in 7 years.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a parent. I don't buy the latest and greatest for my kids. They get the hand-me-downs.
Yeah, because they
Kids
tear it
break
up.
shit. You're not buying a $400 system for your kid. That's just
Depends on
like
the
think of all the
order.
phones kids have. They're almost
I
all
was a kid.
hand-me-downs.
And I got a Switch when I found out that the new one was coming out in 3 months.
I don't know if the
Yeah.
kid does like a kid really pay that much attention.
I wouldn't complain, but I might ask my parents, like, hey, can we return this? Because I really, really want the new one, and I'm willing to wait.
How much do kids pay attention to that stuff though? Like, I have 3 children, so I can only speak from my own experience. They don't even know that like Mario
how
Wonder.
how
is
old
coming
are
out.
they?
How old the kid is.
Yeah. How old?
Well,
are
my
they? If
kid
they're
is
like
8, 10, and 12. And they don't
The
even
10
know
I
Mario
feel like-
Wonder's coming out. I'm a Nintendo
Really? The
YouTuber for a
12-year-old
living,
doesn't
and they
even
don't even
know?
know Mario Wonder.
Yeah, I'd
exists.
say like once you start to
That's
hit like
crazy.
12, like 13, then
how much
you-
access do they have to the internet without your supervision?
Every
That's the
day.
question. Really? They have on it? Wow.
I didn't
Oh,
say
maybe.
They don't.
Okay.
I know what they're doing.
But like, if they could, like, I mean, I guess
They
like,
could
Nintendo
find
stuff
it on
doesn't
their
get
own if
kids
they want, but
ads,
that's
so,
kids aren't
yeah.
looking up video game news. It's just not what they're doing.
Well, yes,
these
but
days.
knowing that Super Mario Wonder is coming out is a different level than a brand new Nintendo system. That's something that kids would know.
No,
Well,
see what
would
kids
they
will
if they
know
don't
is
regularly
one kid will
consume
get it
content
and bring it to
related
the
to it?
playground, and then when that kid brings, because that's if you think about back to your childhood, like especially my childhood,
Sure.
I didn't know about the DS until some kid brought some kid at
Sure.
daycare brought it
Well,
to daycare, and then I found out, and then I went home and I was like, Mom, I want a DS. You know,
Yeah,
well, that's
yeah.
I
'cause
know
you
times
were-
are different
that's
and they
'cause
have
you were a dumb
internet,
kid, I'm
whatever,
sorry.
but go ahead. Sorry.
No offense. No, I'm just kidding.
What did you say? I had missed it.
that's because you were a dumb kid. I'm
Wow. I didn't have internet yet when I was like 8 or
Really,
Welcome to
like,
Jake
7 years
Randall. He
old.
brings it. Don't worry. I'm
Oh,
surprised you didn't
damn.
bring up the Ocarina of
No,
Time
no,
stuff
it was
yet.
a good point. It was too funny
Yeah,
for me
yeah.
not to say that. I'm sorry.
No,
I
it's
got you.
like I just sit here and I used to do after school care with kids at elementary schools and all this stuff, and like they just don't know anything going on with the latest in gaming stuff, including new systems coming out, because the kind of content they're consuming is all like funny comedy dumb bullshit. They're not paying attention to news. They don't even watch commercials anymore, so they're not going to have the new system flashed in front of their eyes. Like, they find out when they see
They're
people
gonna
with
see it on
one.
ads for YouTube videos.
That you mean that they skip?
Sometimes they're not skippable.
I have watched children.
I don't know how the ads
They don't
are
pay attention.
nowadays,
I'm going to
so-
tell you right now, they don't give a shit about the ads. As soon as an ad plays, they just tune out. I'm sorry,
No,
ad
it's like
companies.
it's
Keep
like-
playing ads on my videos. I appreciate the
When
money.
the system came out before they're watching Mr. Beast. They're gonna notice it.
Mr. B.
How many children do you see talking about the ads on Mr. Beast versus the videos? My children
I mean,
don't
they
even know who
talk about
sponsors
it.
his
They'll talk
videos.
about
He,
it for
he
sure.
talks about sponsors in every video.
Kids don't make the relation. Oh, the reason I know about this is because of this ad. But like, they're very impressionable. That's why ads are a thing.
So then,
Anyways.
I just don't get it, because why does every kid that I've ever been around not know about any of the latest stuff going on with anything, even latest tech, latest anything? They don't know anything.
Dude, you live in Wisconsin.
And so children in Wisconsin don't get served
Well,
commercials.
the general population, just the IQ level.
Damn. He's really coming for. He's really.
Look, I went.
swinging. He's
You took
really
me to a bar
swinging
in
here.
Boston where someone tried to pick a fight with me just for asking for a beer from the bartender. because I asked for a beer they didn't have. I don't want to hear about IQ levels. All right.
I think
literally
the real
a guy's trying to pick a fight with me because I asked for an alcohol they do not have in the bar, as if that was insulting to them. They're not even the bartender. The bartender didn't care. The bartender's like, sorry.
My name and title off the screen.
Oh yeah, they're all gone.
I don't know where they went.
I think it's just when they're like
when the pop-up happens.
I think it's because of the questions there.
Yeah,
but
that's what we're saying. Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, no, I don't want to hear about IQ levels, man. After I finally made my trip out to Boston, and dude, I was not impressed with the IQ levels. So it's just saying.
That's crazy.
I think there's a reason a lot of big
I was trying to bring you around
there.
people that you would feel more comfortable with. That's why.
Anyways, but no, it's fine. Like, it's all about sample sizes and what you know. But it's like I have kids and been around a lot of kids, and none of them know jack shit. Like, they found out what a Switch was like 2 years after Switch came out. And I just don't. Like, my kids don't know about Mario Wonder until I play it.
For your kids' age range, because I actually have a lot of friends like with kids around similar age to yours, and I agree they don't know anything. But I think it's like once you start getting middle school, high school.
They know upcoming movies for some reason. I don't know how they know
like
about
I spend Christmas with them, and they'll get all these games, and they have no idea what they are. Yeah. They're like happy to get. They don't care.
Yeah, they don't even.
Once
that's why I'm like
a little older.
That's why I'm like, the kids aren't gonna give a shit if they got the new system's announced, but they got something else under the tree. Well, guess what? They never had the old system, so what are they giving a shit about?
Yeah,
they don't know. They don't know. We lost someone.
You lost an Andres.
Yeah, that happens. Anyways, so to answer the question, early to mid 2024, dude, I'm like right in line with Jay. Like, I'm thinking March to June.
I don't really have a lot of experience when a new console comes out or having any information or whatever, so you can't really trust me. But I would say,
look, if he says March to June,
think so.
Oh, is this informed speculation?
On the release date? No.
He's like, no, don't get your hopes up.
No. He's talking shit, but he's actually known for like helping people get products at launch and stuff. So it's like, wait a second,
Well, yeah, when it does come out, I'll know when every retailer gets them. Like, I will know then. But yeah, until then, it's purely speculation.
Until you message me randomly, yeah. So I just got my Walmart contact, dude. They haven't announced the release date of this thing yet, dude. Just get ready. They're dropping it tomorrow. You better get your browser up.
Dropping it tomorrow.
I'm gonna do a stream. My stream's already ready, but I can't say anything yet because it hasn't been announced.
Shadow dropping the system tomorrow.
Anyways, yeah, I do think it's going to be early to mid 2024, and the only reason I say that, it could be late, by the way. There's a lot of people that expect like a September launch or something, holiday launch, which is fine. Holiday launch is usually that traditional period.
That went well last time.
I mean, it went well for PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5.
Easy to buy.
No, but sales wise, that was during COVID. Let me put this. Every system sells out at launch. Wii U sold out at launch.
Right.
So like, it doesn't matter when you launch, you're going to sell out.
They sell out in the holidays. The Switch sells out every December.
Sure. And it's usually back in stock by January. Well, PlayStation 5 might have been back in stock if we didn't have COVID.
So I'm just saying, it makes sense to release it at a time when you're already not going to sell out no matter what.
What? Because they will have two sellout periods during the year for sure. Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. Like Switch sold out and was hard to get for 3 months, and then it was back in stock pretty well by the time we got the holidays, and it sold out again. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but that makes total sense. That's why many people have argued they should release it before the holiday, because it actually gives you a double boost in year one instead of just
and again, I mean, the original Switch was March 2017.
I mean, they were living on the NES Classic back then. I think they needed to get something out. But yeah, anyways, yeah, I think early to mid makes sense next year. It doesn't have to be. Again, it could still be September. It's fine. It's a few months before the holiday. They can be restocked by then, but we'll have to wait and see. We obviously don't know. The thing's hasn't even been announced. Mm-hmm. I think most of us are in agreement that if it's not announced this year, which most of us don't think it will be, early next year, sometime. April, maybe at the latest that they announce it, but because they're going to need some sort of positive news coming off hey, we hit our projections of 15 million, and we're down year on year, and our new projections are now going to be 8 million.
Oh, here's a question related to that, Ben. Whenever they do announce it, what do you think the launch lineup will like? I guess like the big launch game, or two.
Well, 3D Mario was said by Andy Robinson, but he also said that he doesn't have a bunch of verification.
Well, that makes a lot of sense because we haven't heard anything about Mario, and Odyssey came out.
Yeah, he so Andy Robinson hasn't made an article on it specifically yet because he's a journalist and he wants to have like 2-3 sources on it, and he only has one. But 3D Mario makes a lot of sense, clearly. I mean, we haven't had one since 2017. So like, also, Samuel talks about games. I wanted to add to this with the $4.99. Thank you so much. Says also, considering how well 2023 is for Switch sales, I think the Switch will pass the PlayStation 2 in sales around 2025-ish. What are your thoughts?
If they keep making them like after a price cut, sure. But if they really phase them out and they are just trying to clear stock, it depends. As long as they keep making them, then yeah, I think it'll sell by that point. But that's the only like question I have about it is will they make enough to sell that much?
Yeah, it's interesting to think about it, because the last update we got was basically 130 million. PS2 just sits on all the lists at 155 plus. Some people have speculated it's closer to 160 because we don't really have an exact figure because Sony never gave us a final figure on it.
They phased out the 3DS so quick when the Switch came out, and they said they weren't going to do that. This is different because now they're having a system that can play Switch games.
Yeah, if it's backwards compatible, there's less reason to keep making them.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, they were projecting 15 million. To hit the projection, they'd have to sell like another 8 million, I think, the rest of the year to hit that original projection. That means they got to sell another 22 million or so to get to PS2. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but it would be they don't launch Switch 2 next year and they're still pushing Switch hard to sell another 10 plus million, and then they're going into 2025 with it still their top platform. At that point, I think they could hit it in 2025, but I think it's going to be a harsher cutoff than people realize. And it won't be that they're abandoning the Switch audience. I still think there'll be some new games that come to Switch, but I think manufacturing is going to really slow down. Like I
agree completely.
My prediction is when the Switch 2 does come out next year, assuming it does come out, but if it comes out, Nintendo might stop making almost every model of Switch, but OLED for a little while, and let the stock they have go away, and then they'll just sort of trickle the OLED sales for about another year, and then they'll just stop making that as well, since that's their top selling unit of it. And they'll price cut along the way as well, I assume, to get rid of the stock. But
another question, this is still related. I'm not changing the topic, but this is related to that. So, do you think? I know it said it's not going to be. So, do you think the Switch 2 will have an OLED screen? Because if it doesn't, if it doesn't, it makes sense to keep making the Switch OLEDs. But if it does, I think they would keep making the base Switches instead because they would want to use OLED screens for the new Switch.
I think it won't, and then
that's going to be a setback. That's going to be kind of. I'm not going to like that.
Supposedly the screen's going to be 8 inches big.
It's a bit larger.
That's 6 inches too big for me.
Well, the question is too, though, not all LCDs are made the same. They could end up going with a higher quality LCD panel. I'm not saying they will, because I think the idea of go with LCDs,
but still,
we hope
the difference.
They could be cutting costs and go with the cheapest of the cheap panel. Like
I feel like we may end up seeing everything. Like once this all comes together, like once we see the full package, you might be like, oh, that's better. Like we're like OLED users won't feel like.
Plus, we know that OLED model is going to come.
I'm not like a graphics snob by any means. Like, I don't really care, and I'm not like one of those people like that cares so much about the specs of their TV or the monitor or whatever. But specifically, when the OLED Switch came out, and I got one just because I was so hyped for it, and I compared it to I went back and forth between playing games on each.
Yeah,
I was like one of the first times in my life where I just saw like such a huge difference. It's hard for me to.
Julia gets pissed when I'm playing my Switch in bed because I have an OLED. She's using my old one.
You're right. It could be a much better quality screen than the original Switch, so I wouldn't notice as much. But that's the only thing that makes me.
Yeah, because like this screen behind me, this isn't an OLED, but it's got really good colors.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, side by side, you can probably still tell an OLED's better, but this is way better than what the Switch is.
As long as it's not
screen.
like that, like when you transition between them, it like hits you. But it also, if it is 8-inch, like you said, then having a bigger screen, that also might help. That's a good point, Andre.
I also think that OLED might become their new XL. It's their new mid-gen refresh system. Like there's going to be an OLED version of this one too someday.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
I mean, I would love OLED should just be standard, but I think that the only reason it's not, like they probably started with it maybe thinking it would be, but I think that Nintendo likes to make profit on their systems, and the margins I think are so thin that any way that they could find to cut costs, they're doing.
There's something else too that I didn't think of. It's probably going to be 1080p, right?
Could be.
So
hopefully,
I would think so.
If it's 1080p, it's going to look better in many cases because it'll be higher pixel density.
Just for comparison's sake, is the PlayStation Portal 1080p? Because I know that's an LCD screen. So I did pre-order that. So when that comes out, I guess that'll give me a better idea, even though obviously they're not using any of the same parts. But like if I can play on that screen and not have it be a big deal, then maybe that would give me a sign that I'm sure Nintendo's testing all this and it's not going to be crazy.
8-inch LCD with 1080p.
Yep, 1080p 60 it says.
Okay.
With a headphone jack.
Yeah, 1080p and also just like 60 frames on every game. Like no games run 30 unless they're like old ports or something. I think it's just huge. I think it just needs to be the standard moving forward. And if it's not the standard, I think it's pretty dog water. Just keep it real.
So in the end, we'll switch past PlayStation 2. That was the question.
Ooh, where are we at now?
130 million, basically.
Well, how many is? What was the most? What did PlayStation?
Well, Nate the Hate claims that it's like 160, but the numbers you find online say 155 plus, because Sony never gave a final number.
I think if we get okay, it depends though. If the Switch 2 is just like the next iteration, if it's kind of like the new 3DS,
they stop making Switches and they don't get there simply because they don't make them.
Nah,
but if it's like a whole new like generation reset thing, then I don't think they may get there. But I think if it's like the new 3DS, like it's just a better Switch, then I think they can do it because it's still
just a better Switch.
Yeah, exactly.
It also depends on if Nintendo goes the Game Boy Color route, where it's the same thing.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
here we go. All right. Well, thank you so much for the question. I don't see any more questions submitted, so we should be good to go to end the show here. Let's go around and let you guys can let people know who you are, where they can find you, and our mods will usually take care of getting links in the chat. If not, there's links in the description, or I'll post them up. Flan, let's start with you. What do you got going on, and where can they find you?
So you can find me on twitch.tv/Favlan. That's where my main stuff is. This weekend, tomorrow we do a shiny hunting race. Friday's oh God, what is Friday? It's something. And Saturday is Friday's we're doing Kirby's Forgotten Land, or Return to Dreamland, excuse me, couch stream. But the big stuff is next weekend. I'm doing the Mario Party game show, but then I'm also doing a brand new game show that I can't announce yet. Can't tell you what the name of it is. It'll be announced this weekend. And I also launched my YouTube channel. So if you're going to subscribe to anything or you're going to check anything out, check my YouTube channel out today. I would really appreciate that. Help me get to 100 subscribers because I literally just posted a video and I've been posting shorts and we've been really hitting it.
Called?
It's the same thing. FVLAM.
Okay.
Same for everything. Twitch, YouTube, Instagram. You can find me with this little tag right there. But anyways, yeah, that's my thing. So it's brand new. We're launching and we're getting it. So thank you. Yeah.
All right, Mr. 2-inch Destroyer, what you got going on and where can they find you?
You're
used to a bigger audience. I don't know if you can handle only 200 live here.
No, it's great. You can find me Jake Randall.
You had to think about that for a second.
Jake
What's my name again? Wait,
who is me?
My license. But
he just changed his driver's license to 2-inch.
Jake Randall. you can find me by closing the chat and expanding the description on this live stream and clicking there. Also, Jake Randall on Twitter. I'll pop right up if you search that. And 2-Inch Destroyer on OnlyFans.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go check that out if you actually have that OnlyFans profile.
Oh,
I'm sure you
yeah.
do. You know, knowing you,
That's my most profitable right now.
knowing you, yeah, dude, that's the secret I didn't know. Dude, I text you, we talk to each other. You never told me about the OnlyFans. Jeez.
Yeah, well, I thought everyone knew.
He probably thought it was out of my price range. It's probably like $99.99 just to get in.
It's all big toe pictures.
It is what it is. You got 2-inch big toe. That's impressive. Eric, what do you got going on? Where can they find you?
Here, that's it.
Everybody's
Twitter,
X.
Yeah.
You can
You can also
Zeta
find
him.
Eric on select videos on 2-Inch
Oh.
Destroyer's OnlyFans.
Yes. Oh shit. We're supposed to
So
say that. No.
true.
I didn't realize you guys teamed up like that. I'm a little jealous.
That's a double team, yeah.
All right, that's double team. Oh, geez. Andres Restart, what you got going on, and where can they
Oh
find
my
you?
god.
Is it really a thing?
No.
Oh, there's
Oh my.
probably an OnlyFans for 2-Inch
No,
Destroyer.
I mean, there are.
Someone's had to have done it.
Listen, I'll tell you this: there are things on the Google search, but it is not. It's not OnlyFans.
It's not him.
Wait, did you Google 2-Inch Destroyer? No. Did you really Google 2-Inch Destroyer?
We
I didn't
need
look
to
at
end this
images. I
podcast.
just look at.
You
the
had
search.
to have known
We
what
need
was
to end
coming
this
your way. You
podcast.
typed
We're
2-Inch
gonna go
Destroyer.
Why
brought
it's
that
gonna
on
go
yourself.
wild?
I am
To
gonna
be
drop
totally
merch.
honest,
T-shirt
honest,
that
I'm
2-Inch
very
Destroyer at
gullible.
some point.
So I took his word for it, and I didn't see any images, so it's
Oh my
fine.
goodness.
Just search.
Don't worry. Even if you open the images, it's kind of hard. You gotta squint.
Oh,
That would be fitting, but
oh my
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Anyways, Andres, what you got going on? Where can they find you?
None of that. That's
None of that
Yeah.
so far.
So Tinder profile.
So true.
no. Just daily Nintendo stuff. Yeah, we're trying to pick up some steam to somehow do the impossible and hit 50K by the end of the year. So
Yippee!
I'm trying to hit 150K.
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe Metro Prime 4 next week comes and it's like a real
I just can't
big
get that momentum. Man.
deal.
Just can't get it. Don't know what's up. It's I don't have enough 2-inch in my life.
Could be.
2 inches more than enough.
Anyways,
Jesus, man.
yeah, you got to go subscribe to Andres Restart, guys. Link down in the description. Let's get to the 50K. I'm gonna push him every single week. Get Flavlando. What is he trying to get to 100?
100, yeah.
Shoot it past
That's easy
that.
one, right?
1K.
Easy.
Just come on. And Eric, give him just one extra follower on Twitter. That's it. Just one. It's all linked down in the description, by the way. I am Nintendo Prime. You guys probably know me. If you don't know me, then welcome. This is the first thing you've ever seen. Hopefully it was very entertaining for you. We do this podcast every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Time live on the Nintendo Prime YouTube channel. My channel is all about talking about Nintendo news. We are a news channel. That's what we do. We talk about news. But we'll talk about occasionally some other stuff, a few discussion videos here and there when the news is slow. But yeah, I talk about Nintendo all the time. If you want to get to know me even better, all you got to do is show up to my live streams, usually every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, because those streams get wet and wild. And if you don't believe me, just show up to any stream and ask people how crazy they get in the chat. It's
Sure.
you don't want to know. That being said, well, maybe you do want to know. That's the thing. I have a hugely dedicated audience from some of my live streams, and I'm not really sure if that's a good thing.
Wait, you're in the 2-Inch Destroyer shows too? Extra
No,
wet?
no. We there's no OnlyFans
Oh.
on my stream. No,
Maybe there should
we
be.
gotta stay within TOS.
Ah.
TOS. That being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week for episode 37. This was episode 36 of the season 2 of the Nintendo Prime podcast. You can catch it right here on the channel or anywhere podcasts are heard. Have a good day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye. I'm going to do this until we go.